Miggy, mic check 1 2. Miggy, mic check 1 2. Random show episode number 87 with I, your host, AgostinhoZinga. This is the random show episode number 87 with I, your host, AgostinhoZinga. Look at my forearms in the picture. I'm getting lit and dropping my microphone. It's a situation. What's going on, man? Hope you're good wherever you may be. I've got this light shining in my face. Got this nice little Alfred Hitchcock vibe of a light shining right now deep below my face, right? So all my little extremities are poking out and stuff, and I look right kind of sinister, right? Big up the sinister gang, yeah. But now you see me nice and HD. You feel me? Big up everybody in the stream chat. Big up everybody hanging out and joining the kid, right? Let's see, everything's popped on. Everything's popped on. We got everything where it needs to be. Big up the stream chat. Big up everybody that's gonna be joining us little by little. Yes. We here. Apologies for the lateness. I meant to do this way earlier before, but you know what? Some things came up, and here I am. That's the main thing you need to kind of worry about, all right? Some things came up, but here I am anyway. I came through. You know what's funny, right? You know what's funny? Do you notice the consistency of which I am doing these shows and live streams and stuff and what I'm uploading? Have you noticed? Can anyone in the stream chat guess why I've been able to bang out so many videos, you know, in between work and stuff? Can you guess why I've not been, you know, scheduling live streams and not turning up? Can anyone guess why that's not happened in a while? Can anyone have a Scooby why that may be the case? It's so bad, man. Can anyone guess? No. What you got? The work is there. I've got a little hustle going on. I've got a little job. I've got a little 9 to 5. The change is, I've not been out. I've not been on the gear. That's the change. The job is there. Don't worry. The job is there. I do mostly kind of late shifts, and obviously working remotely kind of helps. I don't need to leave my house, so that's perfectly fine. I can get a couple hours sleep and bang it out. But the major thing has been the lack of drugs and the lack of alcohol. And legit, I'm not gonna lie. You know what stopped me doing it? You know what kind of made me, you know what? I need to relax and maybe leave it for the weekends. You know what made me stop? Brendan Schaub. Doing these streams and seeing how quickly, yeah, exactly. Uche knows that 2 week. That too, like I feel like Gigi Hadid. You know, all of a sudden. Uche knows, but honestly, doing these live streams and seeing Brendan's face and how it's changed and how it's morphed, I was like, nah, I can't be having that. Do you know what I mean? I can't be having that. And legitimately, like, you know, some of you guys know from my stream and what I talk about in my podcast, I'm way too vain and into flipping looking good and into fashion and stuff for me to have that, you know, to look like that. I just can't have it. I need to look a certain way. And yeah, so that's basically the reason why I've kind of sacked it off a bit. I'm still gonna end up doing it, you know, here and there, but I was doing it a little bit too. It kind of turned into like, you know what I said earlier about Deliveroo when I kind of ballooned up in weight because I was ordering 2 times a day. Yeah, it kind of turned into that stuff. It was kind of involving the week, and usually I was never the week guy. I always kind of kept that sort of stuff to the weekend, especially the drinking, because I don't usually drink at home and stuff. I usually do it when I'm going to party and stuff on the weekend, but then decided to get a little bit crazy. I'd pop into the off license to buy some eggs, and then suddenly, whoops! Look what's in my bag. Some vodka. So now we're straight on the water and the green juice only, right, and the coffee, and we're feeling good, right? Been getting up, going to the gym early and stuff, right? As Uche said, I got that 2 week glow up, right? I think I'm out and Mason out here. You feel me? Yeah. So that's the vibe. So it's been good to see that, but it's kind of shambolic in my end as well. I'm proud of it, but I'm also a bit ashamed. I'm like, God almighty, you're a grown man. Do you know what I mean? Scheduling live streams and not turning up because you're too mashed up. You're somewhere twirling like, ooh-wee. But yeah, we saved that for another time. And I mean, we saved that for another time, yeah. Honestly, it's the Papa intervention is real, man. You watch Brendan, and this is the thing, because I'm a former fan. That's what people need to understand when they come on these live streams. I'm a former fan, so I know these guys intimately. I cared about the stream, like how you guys care and watch what I say here and remember some of the stuff I say here and poke fun at me, right? Which I flipping hate. So I'm definitely not going to be sharing some stuff too much on here. But people pay attention. So I pay attention to the pod. I remember when Brendan, you didn't used to drink. I remember when it was like a thing you used to brag about, like, oh, I'm a comedian, and the reason why I'm getting ahead of you guys is because I've got athlete's mentality, and I've got this work ethic from my dad, and also I go to these clubs, I perform, I just leave. I'm not here hanging around. Like he used to brag about not hanging, like, and that's a big part of comedy. You hang in a green room, you hang in a car park, but you just shoot the shit with your fellow comedic friends. He used to brag about not doing that and not drinking and look at me, look how much better I am than you. And then all of a sudden, in the space of 5 years, look how that guy's face has morphed. Now again, I'm sure food is involved also, and you know he's the kind of white guy that doesn't believe in skin moisturizer and stuff, so that obviously might not help as well. He doesn't, he's not someone that's going to be exfoliating or doing any sort of facials or anything along that kind of lines. I'm even questioning if he showers that much, but still, the fact that he's deteriorated so quickly in the space of 5 or so years, to me was a bit alarming. I was like, you know what? If that's happening to him, I can't rely on this black don't cracks nonsense, because black eventually does crack. It's not, we age like avocados, we're young for a long period of time, and then suddenly, all of a sudden, we start looking very, very weathered. So I didn't want to kind of play with fire. And the thing in general anyway, with this pod and stuff and talking about these guys, is quite nice to, as long as you're poking fun at them, also let's take some lessons away from it and be like, you know what, I'm not going to do that. Like even interrupting, I've realized like I don't interrupt as much as well, because I'm so conscious of like how it looks on camera with those guys, right? Where they don't let anybody finish their thought, they don't let anybody finish their sentence, they're always interjecting, trying to one up. Like I never was that guy anyway to one up people, but I'm always very conscious of it because of the pod. So, those guys they've kind of in a weird way, due to their shortcomings, have helped me be a better person. And I'm really happy about it. So yeah, I'm on my 2-week glow up thing, no one can talk to me, I'm on my own thing, I don't need anyone, yeah. But yeah. Oh, anyways, long story short, first things first, we need to talk about here, and we must get this out here, is I want to give a huge shout out to a member of the community here, and somebody I think we should all be chipping in to help, the lovely, the effervescent Martha. Got a very heartwarming GoFundMe here that she set up for her lovely daughter Billie, and I think a lot of us here should be chipping in to help out, to help Billie get a service dog. The link is already in the stream chat right now, so if you want to donate to this lovely GoFundMe, then please make sure that you click the URL in the link. I will be popping this up here on the screen a couple of times throughout the entirety of the streams, so make sure that you do. That'll be absolutely lovely. Let's read a little bit about the description and get these lovely pictures of these babies on the screen. Autism, as we all know, someone who's been diagnosed or has a child with a spectrum. We are some of these people, whose brains work a little bit differently, and that's why we're here. Let's scroll down. Billie was born with the very start of the pandemic, along with her twin sister Alice, just 5.5 pounds, but perfect in every way, and my sweet little angel. As they grow, I could tell that something within her was different from her sister. She crawled soon after Alice and walked a month after they were twins, and even said I love you first. But then it all changed. She went inside herself, she started to flap, and she would bite at random. She was silent, she was clear that she was on the spectrum. There's lovely girl there. For the last year, we've worked with a therapist in speech and play and watched her become very clever, extremely happy and wonderfully precious little girl. With months of effort, she will call for mama and tries to play with her sister, and she loves her tablet. But we struggle, especially with safety. Billie is what we call an eloper. She runs off at random and has no sense of danger. She will run towards the street every time she sees down. She is set down, and the stress of it tends to keep us inside and isolated, which is not what any of us want. That is where we are asking you for help. We have made the decision to get Billie an autism service dog, but all the programs for these pups have waiting lists of 2 to 5 years, as well as a cost of usually over 20,000. And unfortunately, we do not have the time to wait as we go against the safety issues. So I have made the decision to train her to train her service dog myself. I worked with the dog care industry my whole life, and I'm looking forward to taking on this challenge and helping Billie to have a friend who's always there for her and always watching out for her. We have a prospect. He is a standard poodle that we can start working with as soon as we can afford to bring him home. I know the goal amount is a lot. Luckily, since we're training ourselves, it will be able to pay for the trainer as we go, as opposed to needing all the money up front, which is what we'll use this whole time if possible. I know times are tough, but I also know that this will be a game changer for Billie. She'll have someone by her side at all times with no pressure of acting normal or hiding who she is. All I want in this life is for my girls to grow up happy and thriving. And with your help, I generally think Billie's quality of life can go up tenfold. Thank you so much for even taking the time to read this, and I hope you follow along this as we all will be long evolved in the journey with constant updates and probably too many pictures of the little lady in question. Hopefully her smile brings you as much joy as it does her sister and I. So if you do, please make sure, and it does touch your heart, then I please do implore you to click the link that's in the flipping chat right now and support dear old angel Billie to get a nice little service animal for herself so she's protected at all times. Make sure you do that, and of course we'll be shouting this out throughout the entirety of the pod. So make sure, the live stream. So make sure that you do. That will be greatly appreciated. Okay, we support each other here. Support each other here as we do. Let's support each other here as we do. Okay. So, what's going to say? All right, so I've got to bang this out quickly. Let's go. So, number one thing. Let's go. So much to get through. Number one thing to get through is this, right? And I think this is absolutely hilarious. And I'm only laughing because of how much, like, for instance, like, it doesn't bring me a lot of, should I lie? Yeah, let's lie. It doesn't bring me a lot of joy to see that the comedy mothership isn't following any of these guys, right? It brings me no joy whatsoever to see that they're probably at home, like it's eating away at them. The fact that they're not followed by the comedy mothership, and they haven't booked them yet, and there's no indication that they're going to be on that show anytime soon, or sorry, at that club anytime soon. It probably eats away at them. They don't even get, I was even thinking about it the other day. When's the last time Brendan O'Brien's been invited on tour, on the road with flipping Joe Rogan? It's really bizarre this happened. And I think we mentioned it prior when we watched that Schaub Chronicles that somebody for the Fire and the Kids subreddit made. And it was a podcast they did on Joe Rogan's platform, but it was for the Fire and the Kid. He does that regularly. He does that sometimes with Theo Vaughn or with Tim Dillon, where when they're recording his show, he'll just do it back to back and just record theirs and just do it in his studio. But he hasn't been on their show in many years. And I know it must eat away at them because they hold this guy up on such a high pedestal. He's probably more important than their wives and their children. It's absolutely cringe. It's ridiculous, really, in the big scheme of things. But I know it eats away at their soul. I absolutely know it, right? So it's also funny when us as viewers can see the fight companion stuff isn't the same, right? The vibe is a bit different. They're not the same. And, some of us can, use our discernment and figure out that, all those allegations of rapes against Bryan's name, Brendan essentially going to war with one half of the LA comedy scene with these conflicts with Annie and KHALYLA and Bobby Lee, and the fallout from that hasn't helped how connected or how close they are with Joe, because Joe is a consummate comedy guy, right? He's the one that's, he's trying to bring everyone together. He's trying to create a little community. He doesn't want people being like crabs in the barrel mentality or just snapping at each other or hating each other. He kind of preaches the gospel of abundance, and there's no scarcity in gigs and all this sort of stuff. So he probably doesn't like the fact that Brendan, you'd imagine, it probably doesn't sit right with him, that Brendan in a very short space of time has caused a lot of division within the comedy scene just by his presence alone, how he's come up in the industry, and just his horrible personality at times. So it's no surprise when we see the fight companion happen and Joe Rogan's left and moved to Austin, that's not the same. They don't click the same, they don't vibe the same. So when we hear them, or Brendan or Joe say, yeah, we're going to do another one, we're going to do one on another date for Leon Edwards and flipping Kamaru Usman fight, that's what we're going to do, right? You're like, hold on, this doesn't make any sense. This previous one we just saw was brutal to get through. How are they gonna now suddenly do a new one? Doesn't really make up or doesn't really add up in that regard. And a lot of people, again, I have to give credit to the Fire and the Kids subreddit guys. All those guys on there were spot on. They were calling it from the jump. This pod is not going to happen. The fight companion won't happen. It won't happen. It won't happen. It won't happen. Because usually, if it's International Fight Week, like it is for the Kamaru Usman and Edwards fight, I think it's number 3, right? That fight coming up, right? For Kamaru Usman to try and get his lick back from Edwards. Usually, when it's International Fight Week, Joe Rogan doesn't go. So that's usually the times that they'll do the fight companion because he stays home. But it looks like it's not happening. And the Fighter Kiss subreddit guys are right. This is a clip taken from the end of the Schaub show. No, so some sections of the Schaub show from the Fighter Kiss subreddit. Again, I haven't seen the whole thing. We're going to go over it later. But look at this. It's not happening. And I'm absolutely shocked. And the lie that Brendan says and how he tries to talk about it is clever. But also you can tell it's a lie because of how flipping Chin cackles, how quickly Brendan blinks and kind of short circuits when he hears him cackling, but just steamrolls through the lie anyway. Let's watch this.
Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman going down for the main event. Fight companion Rogan is not happening. Jamie has some golf thing he has to do, and my family's doing some stuff for my B-Day, so it just did not work out. So we're rescheduling for the next fight companion in Austin, Texas with Joe Rogan. We might do a fight companion here at Thick Boy. We're trying to get the team together now. Keep you guys posted, but enjoy the fights either way. I'll post on social media, announce Wednesday I'm fighting the kid if we are having a companion on Saturday. So we'll see. Try and get the sent out.
Now, I'm gonna be a little bit redacted here, and I'm gonna read too much into a 30-second clip. But did you notice in this 30-second clip the cackle from Chin, Brendan blinking and doing that kind of like dismissive, Jamie's got some golfing going on? My theory is this. My theory is that Joe Rogan bullshitted him and lied about why he doesn't want to do the fight companion, and basically used Jamie as a human shield. They all do this, right? They don't really like to own up or fess up to what they want to do. Brendan with the DA cancelling his gigs in San Francisco. Bryan Callen blaming his flipping daughter for the fact that that's why he deleted all those pictures of Crystalia on his profile when Crystalia got what was initially accused of diddling kids and stuff, when it really was him getting nervous that his Hollywood career was going down the pound the same way. And then of course karma bit him in the back, and the following week he got accused of all the rapes, which was flipping hilarious. So then they all like to use each other as human shields. My theory is Rogan used Jamie as a human shield and lied about the golfing, because everybody knows, if you've listened to Jerry, Jamie Vernon, the producer, young Jamie, is super into golf. He loves golf, right? He loves golf. So he used him as a human shield to say that. And Brendan didn't believe it. He thought Joe was bullshitting him. And if you remember clearly from that sound clip or from that voice note that Mark Harley, aka BGO, aka Hella Mark Harley, aka Mufasa, when he shared that clip of Brendan talking about the Alex Jones encounter they had at dinner, what did Brendan say when he first came on that microphone? Oh, I didn't even get a chance to promote my dates, right? So clearly, the relationship between these guys isn't what they kind of make it seem at to be on camera. They all see Joe as just a promo bump thing. He's not really their friend in that regard. They don't really, it's just they kind of use him the way we all think they use him. And Joe as well is able to big time them because he's Joe fucking Rogan. So he can say, I'm not doing it because the DA, because there's too much smoke in the air, my plane can't land or something, or because Jamie's playing at the flipping PGA, right? Like, you could just say that out of the way and no one can say anything about it because it's flipping Joe bloody Rogan. So there clearly is some issues going on between them. But I also like how, for whatever reason, everything that we can see from the outside is true. The fight companions aren't what they are. And we've seen it as an example with the Calabasas fight companion. The reason why the Calabasas fight companion is terrible isn't because Brendan can't reproduce a show to save his life. That obviously is a fact. But it's more so because none of those guys are friends. The whole reason why the original fight companion worked was because they were all friends. And if you remember clearly, me as a former fan, because I was a former fan first, and another time Brendan turned me off, right? Didn't turn me on in that way, but you know what I mean. He turned me off. And one of the things that I realized about the fight companion early on, you can even go back to some old threads on Reddit about it. People used to actually like Brendan on the fight companion. he actually came across the best on there, because it was the one time or the one place before King and the Sting started the Fear of Vaughn where people would shit on him, where people would like poke fun at him, and he would take it on the chin and roll with it, not be sensitive and thin-skinned, because essentially in that room he was sort of the lowest in terms of status, maybe above Callen, but he's kind of the lowest in money and all that sort of stuff. So he kind of does that a lot, right? He kind of judges people or acquiesces based on money and clout. So he was able to kind of temper himself in that way. And obviously they were actually genuinely friends. They'd meet up before, they'd hang out for hours before, they'd record the podcast. Sometimes they'd be staying overtime after the pod. They'd say it later the next day. They'd go out for dinner. Like they'd make it a whole thing. But nowadays you feel like they probably go in, do the show, leave, maybe get dinner, and that's it. But it's a very cut and dry. It's not as it once was before. So the idea of them doing back-to-back fight campaigns like this was never on the cards. But I did think it was going to happen because Joe is so loyal. Joe's such a loyal friend, even when, you know, it seems like he's not really being a loyal friend, that he was just going to follow through because he also knows how people are going to interpret it, like myself on the internet. But with his club opening up, you know, like fun stuff on the horizon, the last thing he probably wants to be doing is sitting in a room with Callen and Callen explaining one more time why he's not flipping doing the toe holds company, and having Brendan, you know, pontificate about flipping podcasts, stand-up marketing. It's not going to happen. So Joe Rogan gadooshed the fight companion. I think that's absolutely hilarious, and I know it's eating away at them because these guys put so much value in how Joe Rogan views them and their friendship with the guy, even though they're not really the greatest friends with the guy, and they kind of use him because of how big his platform is. So it couldn't have happened to a bigger redact, you know? So continuing on from that, let's move on from that. Let's go on from this, and let's quickly talk about this. Get this on the screen. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, so don't you find this hilarious, right? Because I didn't even know this was flipping this branch was in the UK. But I've been done a little bit of my Googles on here because people on my stream were shouting at me to do some research. This whole Silicon Valley Bank thing is absolutely hilarious, isn't it? And in the UK, guess who stepped in? Flipping HSBC to save Silicon Valley Bank. You have to absolutely laugh at this sort of stuff, innit, right? We've got decreases in universal basic income, which is essentially benefits here for people in the UK. You got, you know, the rise in homelessness, unemployment rate through the roof, but the government finds a way to save Silicon Valley Bank. You have to flipping laugh. It continues. The UK government has struck a last-minute deal with HSBC to buy Silicon Valley Bank UK operations, saving thousands of British tech startups and investors from big losses after the bank's failure since 2008. Sorry, the first one. The takeover will override the Bank of England's initial decision to place SVB in UK insolvency after a run on the lender that was originally sparked by fears over a multi-billion pound shortfall in the US parent company's balance sheet. The US bank has closed and it seized its assets its assets seized by authorities on Friday. If I'm not mistaken, Joe Biden said the government's going to step in there. While the US regulators have revealed a rescue package to save American customers' deposits in full and provide fresh liquidity for the bank sector, investors fear that it had not been calmed. Those jitters dragged down the global bank stocks and sent the FTSE 100 down more than 2% on Monday, and HSBC shares fell 4%. The acquisition, which cost HSBC £1, followed overnight talks between Downing Street and the Bank of England and the HSBC bosses, including the chief executive Noel Quinn, as authorities rushed to protect the finances of SVB. Sorry. Just a note, by the way. Tube strikes. Underground rail people are striking because of lack of pay. Royal Mail people who are integral part of infrastructure in the UK are struggling and striking because of pay. Nurses and doctors are on strike various times throughout the year because of pay. There's no overnight way to kind of sort that out and get that sorted. Nah. They cut universal basic income. Unemployment rates through the roof. Homelessness is rampant. But we have monies and the times to make sure that we save the banks. Cool. This morning, the government and the Bank of England facilitated the private sale of Silicon Valley Bank UK to HSBC. Deposits will be protected with no taxpayer support. And I said yesterday that we would look after our tech sector, and we have worked urgently to deliver that promise. the funny thing for me, right, about all this, the funny thing for me about this is that is all the people that are going to get scummed are just the regular employees like I did one time. When I was working, for various startups, there'll be one of the pros and cons of a startup is that usually you get given a role that sometimes is outside of your parameters. Maybe it's outside of your experience. Maybe it's outside of your expertise. But they can give you a shot at kind of making it work and rolling up your sleeves and kind of getting your hands dirty. And then you can kind of grow from that, use that experience, and then take you into the other sectors of the world or whatnot, or other business and stuff. But the cons of it is that it's very unpredictable. And sometimes the companies that you could work for could go bankrupt just, while you're working there. It's happened to me. Or sometimes they could just not pay you on time. Or they could not pay you at all, which also happened to me. So you kind of have that kind of, that weird thing where like, okay, if I try and go to a major corporation, it's going to take ages for me to get the job. It's also maybe you're not going to pay that well when you start. And it's also maybe harder to get in. But if I go for the startup, it's going to be easy to get in. It's a volatile market. It goes up and down, but I've also been empowered to do more, even though my role's a bit low. I can power to do more and I can grow in a company. But there's also the chance that sometimes I won't be paid when they say I'm going to be paid, which is brutal, right? There's no greater pain than working your ass off an entire month, payday comes and the deposit doesn't drop. It's painful enough when it doesn't drop in the morning. So you have time to buy some groceries or get yourself lunch during the day. Sometimes it comes in the evening and it hurts you the whole day. That's even terrible. But sometimes it could take months, weeks for it to drop. So the really funny thing and hurtful thing about this is that the people that were suffering the most were the employees who were unable to get their pay because the companies weren't able to make payroll because the banks had frozen all of the assets inside the bank, which is absolutely heinous. But I did see a couple of stories. One particular guy who essentially paid the staff salary out of his own savings. Like he happened to have a little bit of savings that he could cover the flipping salaries of, so he kind of paid it all together. And I really, really, really do appreciate that, man. That's absolutely incredible because I know bosses that haven't done that. Specifically this one cunt called Nicholas Oliver, who didn't end up paying us. The worst one possible was working at this company, and it was funny because I think it was like a wake-up call for me, because I remember once when I went to Berlin to visit a friend who had moved to Berlin to work for a startup, and he went there. So I visited him twice. I visited him in the beginning and the end, and without realizing. So when I went there first time, he just moved over to Berlin to work for this company, and he's a guy like me, like a rave kid. So he was loving the ability to kind of work there and obviously be able to rave every single day. It was a flipping dream setup, and I was so jealous of him. And then when I went back a second time, I bumped into him again, and guess what happened? In the short space of time I'd been there, I think maybe 6 months in between two dates, the company went under. And I remember kind of laughing about it in my head because I'm flipping psychotic like that. And then little by little, and then kind of 1 year later, the same thing happens to me. I leave a proper good company. Like I was working at flipping Depop. It was absolutely great and everything was going lovely. Great little office, great little team, loads of free goodies and whatnot. You get to go to industry events, fashion stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then I leave to go to this startup because I think it's going to pay me more and I'm going to have more responsibilities. And in the space of 2 months of being there, the company goes under. And it was just before Christmas. And I didn't get my pay for December. I didn't get it anyway. I only got paid once. So I didn't get paid for December, and I had to go through court and all that sort of nonsense to kind of get the money. But essentially the point of it was the founder, Nicholas Oliver, didn't try to get the staff sorted out. He just kind of ran away and hid and kind of ghosted everybody, which is the opposite of what this other guy did, what I saw on YouTube earlier, who kind of paid people's salaries out of his own pocket, hoping that the government would step in and he could kind of get that money back, which is crazy because that's his savings from his family. Do you know what I mean? He shouldn't have to do that. But the fact that he did do that says a lot about him as a leader. Do you know what I mean? It kind of reminds me of that great book, Great Leaders Eat Last. And it's something you don't really see practice a lot nowadays. Everyone's kind of looking after themselves a lot. So yeah, big up them. And hopefully anybody that's affected by the Silicon Valley crash is able to kind of, bounce back from this. And yeah, it's just funny how the government steps in for certain things and doesn't step in for others, isn't it? Kind of funny that. Kind of funny. Anyway, moving on. So I mentioned in my chat, big up the stream chat. Whoever mentioned it, I love you. Supposedly, Lush got fired from the flipping No Jumper, and there's a video about it right now. I know No Jumper like to claim stuff all the time, so I don't care if they claim it or whatever, but I need to see this on stream because I didn't know this happened. This happened 3 hours ago, maybe before, on the live show. So let's see what happened. Oh my God, this is crazy. Why did he get fired? Why did he get? Okay, cool. I want to see the freestyle and also want to see that. So let's play both things because I want to see why he got fired. This is absolutely hilarious. Lush has been on the L streak for the longest time. He came in really hot. Everyone really liked him, but really soon you realize how much of a cornball he was and how cringer he was. And unfortunately, being that much of an adult, what is he in his 40s plus, and you know, having these weird insecurities and trying to act a certain way when you're clearly not about that life, getting marked out by flipping Flocko of all people, and now this is horrible. But for the longest time, him and Adam have had a really, really, really weird fractious relationship anyway. Him and Adam, they've been going on. Something's happened weird between them. I don't know why, but it's always been the case. Yeah, true. Uche, someone does get fired. To be fair, not get fired. There's always beef. There's always drama at No Jumper. No Jumper's turned into like its own reality TV show. Because I like to watch, ironically, I like to watch my kind of secret watch that I love to watch. No, so what does it say? What's that saying going? Not secret. What is it? My guilty pleasure is Bad Boys of LA. Have you guys watched that? It's horrible show, right? Horrible show where, you know, majority of the guys in the house are gay, but there's some straight dudes in it, and essentially it's like Bad Girls Club, but it's bad boys, right? And they essentially have to deal with this, like, you know, stuff like go to shows and do walkthroughs and stuff, and it's really about drama and people fighting. And one of the things why that show kind of isn't the greatest is because there's not a lot of challenges. There's not a lot of things of like, you know, there's not a lot of stakes in the show. It's just them fighting, loads of egos. And it gets boring really quickly because it's just always aggression. And I feel like the same thing happens with No Jumper, where there's never peace. There's never time to kind of enjoy the content and kind of contribute to the conversation. They had this sort of freestyle thing happening that went really well. Then that kind of died out really quickly. It's all just drama and beef and beef and beef and beef and beef. So, yeah. Is it okay? Cool. Yeah, Uche knows. Yeah, my get questions love after lockup. Yeah, you know, man. There's these things that we watch, like, you know, and I like to think of myself as an intellectual, right? As a deep thinker. But sometimes I just need my brain to turn off. I don't want to read a subtitle. I don't want to think about world, you know, flipping issues and politics and economics and whatnot. I just want to turn my brain off and watch absolute degenerates embarrass themselves on TV for my entertainment. And you know, honestly, Love After Lockup is a good one. My one, Bad Boys of LA is a good one. Bad Girls Club in general. Blueface's thing on OnlyFans allegedly is pretty good. Yeah, let's do the thing. I want to see the freestyle first. Let's see the freestyle. And then I want to see why he got fired. Oh, Tom said this is mine. Okay, big up Tom. Thank you. I'll take that.
Y'all make sure y'all keep sending those beats to beats@no.
Let's see Lush's freestyle. By the way, just to preface this, Lush fucking sucks at rapping. He used to be good before when he was on the cocaine butt stuff, but now that he's sober and he's a bit older, he's lost that bit of timing and he just sounds dated as hell. But back in the day, he was pretty nice when he was on the cocaine butt and he looked like he'd been strung out for, you know, a million years back to back to back to back. But now he needs to give it up, hang up the mic, continue podding and leave this alone for the kids. But, you know, as people are in the industry and scene, I know people in my streetwear scene, in my fashion scene, who don't let it go. They're out there fighting for Jordans. They're out there wearing Supreme and they're flipping 50 years old. It's just horrible. This is the same. Let's check this freestyle out. I bet it's horrible.
NoJumper.com. I'm listening to them. I'm hearing them, and we're going to use them for varsity.
Somebody said, I'm against drugs, no cocaine for me. So just put the bot, my nigga.
I'm against drugs, no cocaine for me. People that troll on this thing are horrible, man. They're so mean. Anyway, let's go.
It's the most important rhyme I ever wrote. Speaking from the heart and I ain't tripping on no clever quotes. Getting closer to my dreams like Guapale. Gotta say my problems stay chronic, no Dr. Dre.
Okay, this is the best I've heard him sound so far. This is the best he's ever done and it's still trash. But this is the best I've heard him sound and it's still trash. Let's go.
Don't say crabs, I got folks in Long Beach. DJ screw tape that I copped up at the swap meet. Get gurped off the scissor. Mob and Peace Jacker got hitters out in Pittsburgh. Never two-face, all you jokers be some henchmen. I'm out in DC like Batman versus the Penguin.
Okay, now, come on. Now this is dead, man. This is like Little Brow's kind of bars. Come on, brother, man. This is horrendous. The penguin. Like, come on, brother.
Got homies out in Compton, they some gangbangers. AD pull the strings, Carlos Lantana. My woman practice black magic, Santana. Santeria with the crystal like a fucking bad habit. Pull an odd job like I got the golden gun.
Just call Disaster already to step in for you, man. This is horrible. Call Disaster. Put out the bat signal and get the actual Batman involved and call Disaster out so he can start disrespecting people and really turn it up a notch. That's what I want to see. I want to see Disaster going at it with AD, with flipping Almighty Suspect. That's going to be fire. That's going to be flames. He's going to bring out the best in both of them. And it could get heated to the point where there's some, there's some flipping, there's some things exchanged, but I'm in it.
Even if I'm smoking runs, I won't lose focus once. One step forward, 5 steps back. Can't get past that vicious cycle where I'm led back to where I got loaded with my friends. That trap house in the set where my vices set traps. Even though I got clean, living filthy, forgot I'm stronger than everything that didn't kill me. The world is colder than Alaskan winter. Couldn't save myself alone or with a crew of mass Avengers. My little bro got
He's fucking shit. He's fucking shit. He's so fucking shit.
Caught up in a bad dilemma, cause the homie with him turned into a rat like Master Splinter. I got more issues than a newsstand, at war with myself, but I ain't even go to boot camp. Bumping Mac.
Get it? At war with myself, but I didn't go to boot camp. Boot camp is what you do before you go to war and get deployed. Get it? Boot camp, war.
Dre, backwards in my ashtray. I keeps it sucker free, word to Pat stay. Hopping out the car, mind fried like the calamar. My plug Salazar, got a talent how we balance raw. Smoking out the jar off loud in bars till I found the tar. Wound up far away with the counselor named Balthazar.
That's probably the best stuff he does. When he does those run-on sentences, right? None of it makes sense, but when he does those run-on sentences, they usually go pretty well. But when he's actually rapping like, quote, whatever, like 4 bar, 6 bar, 8 bar loops, it's like, when it's a run-on sentence thing, it's good. People are saying it sounds like ChatGPT.
Cloudy dark memories of how I sparked an ounce of shard. Holding guns, now my soul is numb like a callous scar. Blood stain.
Yo, how much meth did he do? So many meth bars, isn't it? Is meth tasty, by the way? Can someone tell me, is meth that tasty? Glass of shards, or is he talking about ket? Because ket comes in shards sometimes. But is that, I'm talking about meth.
An ounce of shard. The counselor named Balthazar. Cloudy dark memories of how I sparked an ounce of shard.
Smoking meth, sparking an ounce of shard. An ounce is what? 3.5 grams. Oh, okay. Uche saying I played the I played the fifth. I beg to differ. Shards. The shards give you shards. Honestly, is meth tasty? I wouldn't like it. It feels good, man. To be fair, what's the closest thing we had here that we used to do a lot? Oh, when we were kids, we used to do MCAT. Did you guys do that? MCAT. Meow meow. Which I guess is methadone, isn't it? It's probably the same thing, isn't it? Right? Man did an ounce is 28 grams. He did 28 grams of meth. Yeah, we used to do meow meow back in the day in school. It smelled like flipping cat piss. It was horrible. But it gave you a little buzz. You felt a little bit, crazy. But yeah.
Guns, now my soul is numb like a callous scar. Blood stains on the wall. Learn to bleach it better. Bleak December later, creeping in a treatment center. Mom's dementia, stay forgetting how her seed got better. Now the grief I cause the only thing that she remember. Feel the pressure of my tangled web of lies. I weave it better. Now I chop the bricks like LaRusso. I don't need a blender.
You can't be talking about bricks when you work for No Jumper. Sorry, you have a job. You're a content creator. You're an host. You're a host thingy. I mean, like, no. Let's go back. Let's see why he got fired. Yeah, okay. People saying trash, Jordan, trash. That emoji. If you're rapping and someone just puts loads of trash emojis in the chat, you must cry, man. That's so dismissive. Just trash can. No words. Oh, anyway, let's see why Lush got fired. I'm gonna say my guess, something political. My guess, something political. But for time anyway, Adam seemed like he's fed up with Lush. But let's see why he got fired. I'm guessing political. Let's see what happened. Why did Lush get fired?
I welcome Adam all. 22. What's up? What's up,
deal?
Man?
Oh, he looks scared. As soon as Adam walked in, why is Lush face like that for? He feels like, you know when like your dad walks in and you didn't, or when your mum walks in and you didn't take out the chicken. You know? He's got that face. Why is he so scared straight away as soon as he walked in? Everyone's just happy to see Adam. He's not. Maybe this guy here probably knows something's up as well. What's happening here? This is odd.
Can I get your seat real quick? Yeah, hell yeah. I'm the only black one, but
I got something to say.
What we on, Adam?
Oh, he was gonna fire him on air anyway. Adam's a piece of shit. Adam's a piece of shit. I thought this was an argument, and then it turned into him being fired. He came into the room knowing he was gonna fire Lush. Nah, what did Lush do?
Lush, you lied to me.
What?
You lied to me, Lush.
About what?
What I just tried to talk to you about in the hall?
Nah.
Yeah.
What?
Nah.
Oh my god. Nah.
Yeah.
I didn't say nothing.
Well,
What happened?
I got confirmation from a bunch of different people.
Nah.
What happened? What happened?
Yeah.
Nah.
What happened? Uh-oh. Look at the faces. My guy doesn't know what he walked into. He just trying to roll a blunt. Gina knows what I want. This guy's like, oh shit. The black guy now feels much better about getting put out of his seat. What's happening here? What happened?
Yeah. And it looks funnier the more you lie.
I really like when?
I mean, how many people do I need to have fucking confirm it before it's like...
What's happening? Can someone give me a background?
Like crazy shit. Like, bro, I've talked to you about talking in the fucking Discord and saying crazy shit, but I never knew that you were this fucking loony with it, bro.
What do you do?
And can we turn the beat off? Can they hear it?
Oh, the guy left. The guy in the middle left. The guy in the middle left. Well done, bro. That was very subtle, but well done. When the beat turned off,
Can they hear it?
he saw his exit. Good boy. Good boy.
You're what? You're sorry?
What happened?
Like I don't like what I didn't say anything.
What
You
happened?
said a lot of shit.
What happened?
Like direct quotes of shit that I said only to you because I fucking trusted you.
What happened?
Man,
Oh my God, Lush. What have you done, you old, decrepit, loser, adult dork self? What the hell have you done? These guys, I don't understand these guys. They get given the opportunity, especially Lush. You get given a second chance to do something in this culture, right? To do something in this little hip-hop community thing you got going on. He was involved in battle rap. He was involved in hip-hop in some regard, but you know, stuff wasn't going well for him, admittedly, before he joined No Jumper. Say what you want about Adam, but he hires and empowers a lot of people. He's a piece of shit and he's basically the white Joe Budden, but he still hires and employs people and gives them a chance to boost themselves and a platform to speak their piece and go on and do great things. Look at what T-Ro's done, AD has done, all these guys from just being on No Jumper, right? They've absolutely smashed it. Even the guys that reconnected, formerly disconnected, look what they've done from giving a platform. But these guys still piss it up a wall. I don't understand this. Maybe it's an LA thing. Like that sense of like self-sabotage, because it creates a bit of a story and a bit of a narrative, as flipping Brendan would say, because you get a chance to like come back and redeem yourself. But I don't understand why these guys, they get paid to just sit in front of a microphone, a couple of grand a month, right? It doesn't matter if even if it's £1,000 a month. If you do a few shows, it all adds up, right? You get paid to do that. You're not working in Target or Walmart. Just mind your business, comment on the news, have some laughs. Don't take yourself too seriously and keep it moving. What is all this drama? Why do they always get involved in drama? I don't understand it. Just comment on the drama that other people do and then keep your nose clean. You know, both metaphorically and, you know.
man, I didn't do that.
This weekend. Yes, you did. And why do you think multiple people who are in the Discord just made it up?
What's happening
I don't know,
here?
like literally, I talked about it in the Discord, but I didn't say any quotes.
Yeah, you did. Well, then how the fuck do people know?
What happened?
About that shit.
I understand you want to ask follow-up questions instead of addressing the fact that you're a fucking snake, but...
Bro, I didn't say that. Like...
What happened?
Like seriously.
Well, it's pretty crazy that you're just lying more right now.
I like literally, like, I don't... if I would have said it, like when did I say that?
No, you did. You said a bunch of shit talking about how much people get paid and shit, bro.
No, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Some of these guys don't deserve what they get given. Talk about Brendan Schaub. You talk about the Bryan Callens of this world. You talk about these guys. You know, sometimes the gifts. But no, I take that back. I take that back. You don't get nothing you don't deserve. But sometimes if you get given a gift, like it just comes down from you from the gods, you should be aware that it's a gift, despite you being an absolute cunt, and you should be thankful for it. That's what should happen. Like if you're Brendan and you legitimately got a chance to make a career being a stand-up comic, even though you're fucking unfunny, but then one of your best friends is Joe Rogan, and one of your best friends is Bryan Callen, the perfect introduction to comedy, you should be like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Despite me being a cunt, I got this opportunity. How amazing. I'm so thankful. Thank you. And just be honoring that gift. But for whatever reason, they take it for granted. They use it to flex on people. I don't understand that logic. I don't get it. Because if it was me and I was a cunt, I would know that I got lucky. Sometimes you get lucky as a cunt. Sometimes it's like, have you ever had that time? I don't know if you guys would admit this, but have you ever had a time where you've wasted money on stuff? Have you had that time? Where you've wasted money on stuff. You should have bought stuff that you should have needed maybe in the house or stuff, but you wasted it on shit. Maybe you bought some chocolates. Maybe you bought some games. You bought some trainers and you should have bought other stuff. And then sometimes, even though you wasted money and it's your own fault and now you're broke, something happens where, I don't know, you walk in the street and you pick up £20 or something. Or like suddenly you get some tax refund or whatever. Or you get paid for something that you forgot about. Something that sometimes that happens. Even though you don't deserve the good luck, you get the good luck. And then you're like so thankful. You're like, oh my God, I'm never going to make this mistake again. And what you do with that money or whatever you've opportunity found, then you go and do the thing you meant to actually have done when you had the money prior, right? It's happened to me before anyway. Probably I'm describing it weird, but it's happened to me a few times where luck has come my way, even though I didn't deserve the luck. And these guys have the most luckiest thing ever. They live in LA, number one, which helps to kind of, make the media connections. Because I'm sure a lot of people, these guys, even though they're not good, just because they're around, they get given opportunity they probably shouldn't be given. And then...
That's complete cap. Like, seriously, like, we could go in the Discord and talk to those people directly.
I would love that. I would
Because
love to be proven wrong because the fact that I trusted you this much and that I've just had all this shit revealed
I
to
don't
me,
even know what people get paid to even speak on that.
Okay, but I mean, why do I have random people in the Discord telling me, oh, so-and-so said this, and it's like something that I guarantee somebody said to you or that you've heard around the office, but that you never obviously should have fucking spoke on?
Nah, we could go in there and like, because I didn't say that shit. Like, seriously, like...
So is there anyone else like pretending to be in there, to be you in there or something?
I mean, you could look through the entire chat log in there. I didn't say anything like that in there, fool. Like,
okay, well maybe we can do like a full analysis of it, but I think I get the gist from talking to everybody.
Because I did not say that, dude. I did not. Like, I'm saying, if I did, I would have told you when you asked me before. Like,
no, you lied to me to my fucking face out there, right in my own office.
No, dude, I didn't.
You did.
If I did, I would have said something.
Well, then there's a bunch of people in the Discord who are tragically misled, and some of them are people that I trust.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Mikey's in the Discord. Like, did I say...
It feels kind of crazy that...
By the way, talking about Discord, make sure you join my Discord. Link is in the description. We do not air anybody's personal business on there. We just post videos and memes and jokes, and we pontificate and gossip about all this nonsense involving the drama community people, and we laugh at them from afar because guess what? It's fun. It's fucking fun. So if you want to join us, please click the link in the Discord. No one's going to air your personal business out there because it's not that serious. We're just having a fucking laugh. We're not doing what these guys are doing. They're getting paid thousands just to kind of sit in front of the camera and have a good time, and they turn it into drama. I don't understand. It's horrible. Let's go.
All these people would just like try to frame you, It seems a little bit more likely that you're just talking
I mean, there's been a lot of like shit. I'm not trying to throw nobody under the bus, but I didn't say like what you said that shit. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't. Well, like, I would have told you if I did. Like,
I mean, it's just it's gonna take you providing the entire Discord chat and pointing out slime.
Okay. So from what I understand, having browsed and read it just myself on the phone, it looks like Lush was in the Discord talking to random fans for some reason about what Adam says about other people at No Jumper, which is typical Adam. So this is a funny interaction. Adam is pissed at Lush for telling other people who are not Adam, who are telling other people outside of No Jumper about what he thinks about other hosts on the show, specifically people at AD and stuff. So he's gossiping about his own employees to other employees who are now telling strangers. And now he's pressed, and he's trying to press Lush on camera to basically save himself and make himself feel good without taking accountability for what he said about the employees. Honestly, Adam22 is the white Joe Budden. He's a piece of shit as a boss. Great businessman, great like media mind, and what's that thing called? Media mind, entrepreneur, whatever it may be. But as a boss, as a manager of people, as a leader, absolutely horrible. And I don't understand why both of those guys don't get people to manage a podcast. Joe Budden should get somebody to manage a podcast in terms of HR, peoples and stuff and whatnot. And same with Adam. There should be some distance between him and the staff because he's just a terrible human being. Like his soul's corrupted. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. But he's also their manager. So imagine your manager bad-mouthing you to other employees, and then the employee goes and tells other people. Imagine how sticky that was get at work.
And by line, things that you didn't say that I'm being told by multiple people that you did say.
I can show you the entire chat. I didn't say that shit.
I honestly think, at least for now, maybe we could come to the bottom of this at some point, but it's probably better that you just leave. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not expect this to be a narrative that was taking place today, but we got to hold ourselves to a higher standard. And yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm just super disappointed.
I didn't do that, bro.
Okay. You guys can end the stream or whatever, but...
It could happen to a bigger cunt. Honestly, I don't care, man. Fuck Lush, man. He was sucking up to Adam all this whole time, trying to act like he was his best friend, and then behind his back, he was telling everybody his business and what he was saying about people. Even though Adam should have done that in the first place, but whatever, man. It is what it is, isn't it? Like, R.I.P. to Lush. Couldn't happen to a bigger cunt. What a horrible arc. What a horrible arc of a story, man. Jesus Christos, man. I just can't understand these guys, honestly. I just can't get any of these guys. Just enjoy the flipping fun times that you have and whatnot. But they always make it about the drama. It's always about the bloody drama. I want to hear... Honestly, I want to see what other people are saying about this. Can we see what Back on Fig said about this? What did Back... Oh, no, I lost the thing. What did Back on Fig say about it? Oh, my God, this is incredible. Anyway, should we just move on from this? Maybe I'll cover this another time when I get more information. I don't know if anybody in the stream chat actually cares about this No Jumper beef and this drama, but this fascinates me so much. But let's get on to the Brendan stuff because I can't stay too long anyway. I want to cover some of the stuff with Brendan and Bert because the squealing from the clips I've seen so far has been a lot to handle. So let's probably get on that quickly. Oh no, let's quickly get on this as well before we get to Brendan stuff. Let's talk about this quickly. This. I
welcome
I'm
all.
22.
Oh no, hold on, sorry.
What's the deal?
Man?
Gino was so enthusiastic when you walked in, but Lush knew what time it was. Actually, let's just quickly see this.
The biggest ongoing
Whoops.
wounds that I can't seem to heal.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's move on. Sorry about that. Hold on, let me just see what they said here. Back on Fig. What did Back on Fig say? Back on Fig. Oh, Adam 22, man. One of the worst flipping whatchamacallit? One of the worst bosses of all time. Let's see what I go on here. Almighty Suspect must be so happy this has happened. Almighty Suspect must be so happy this has happened. Let's quickly move. Hold on. Let's quickly see. Yeah, you heard KHALYLA's voice. We're gonna quickly move on to that in a minute. But just quickly see. I want to hear what the Back on Fig guys say about this whole thing as well. And then we're gonna quickly move on to KHALYLA chat because this might be a little bit inside baseball and a little bit too much in my wheelhouse. This is another guilty pleasure of mine. See, this whole drama stuff is entertaining because it does kind of turn into its own reality TV show. See, these guys always do this sort of stuff. So let me scroll down and see here. T-Rail and Lush giving no jump information. Almighty, I'm breaching his contract. Can't talk about. Okay, cool. Lush 5. Yeah, cool. There we go. Let's see. Lush 5 no jumper. What are these guys saying?
Hosted by Gina View. She was doing a rap battle.
Mm-hmm. Fucked her shit right up.
Was Big Cuz over there rapping?
I don't think so. I wasn't watching it from the start, but I think he was just there hosting with her.
Oh, okay. What's Big Cuz name?
I'm not sure, but he a New York nigga. I met him. He cool. I don't know.
Before you get mad at a nigga, hold on.
He's smooth.
The timestamp is wild because you don't even need one. You could go right here. This is wild.
Oh, they got the timestamp already? Come on now.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me get it back.
You know, no jumper get right to it, bro.
Oh my God. We gonna watch this together, y'all. We finna watch this shit together. I ain't even gonna lie to you. We finna see what the.
Okay, let's go. What did all my suspects say about this?
Start put my name on it, like I don't know.
So what's the stipulations behind that contract? Like, what can you do? What can't you do?
What we can't talk about is exactly what he just did.
Or what he did.
It's in it.
It say don't talk about money.
Yes. It's in it.
So he's in breach of his contract.
Yes.
What else is in the contract that you can't do?
Let's get
That's
to that.
one of them. We're not supposed to be talking about how much niggas make. You feel me? That's one of them.
What is
if
the
I'm not
other shit
mistaken,
you can't do?
If I'm not mistaken, you can't.
Let's see what Adam talked about.
He don't want no parts of this fuckery.
Even if it's not
He
him.
don't want this bullshit.
Let's see, man.
Oh shit!
What's the deal, dog? What is the deal, Adam Sandler? What's going on, man?
Shit.
That's what I'm asking you. What's the deal, cuz?
What's the deal, bro? Man,
He feeling turned up today.
you really? Hey, I just want to know, when you sat down and you gave my boy eye contact, was you like, you focused? You ready? You was feeding off the energy because it looked like you was ready to whoop his ass.
I'm gonna be real with you, T-Rail. I'm at the point in my life where normally, I can hear myself. It sounds crazy, but whatever. Normally, at this point in my life, if I'm gonna do something like that on camera, it's gonna be very, very well thought out. I'm gonna fucking go over it in my head a few times over the course of a day or something. I'm gonna really approach the shit carefully. But the scenario, the way it was laid out, is that I found out about the information that I found out about probably 15 minutes or 20 minutes before I went in there. And I was just so mad that I just sat there thinking about it. And then I finally I had to go for it. I just felt so betrayed. I never had anybody that I was really speaking carefree and able to really communicate with. I never had somebody fucking turn their back on me and just air some shit out like that. I was really, really hurt. You got to see me actually be I seen somebody in the comments saying I never seen Adam that mad before, and I was like, yeah, you never seen me that mad before. It was a first.
Well, I was just in here telling him, I'm like, Adam doesn't move, or Adam doesn't really.
I want to hear what AD said. Fuck this stuff, because AD is the one that got. But let's just last thing now, and then I promise we'll move. I want to see what AD has to say. What did AD say? Because I guess that's who Adam was talking about the most. Let's see what AD has to say about this. Okay. Oh, they're still live now about it. Oh God, 18,000 watching. It's lit. The drama is lit. Honestly, this stuff is better than the Kardashians. I swear to God, this is better than X Factor. It's better than all of it. Let's see what happened here. What did he say about flipping AD? Because I'm confused. Where are these excerpts, conversation stuff? Come on, sir.
And threw him under the bus.
Yo, bro, when I heard that, man,
That's
listen,
crazy,
man,
bro. It's wild,
bro.
What happened here? I want to see what happened.
Spoke to you, but yeah, there was a comment about you being tired of AD's repetitive jokes and just his general vibe on the show. Also, a whole bit about how you were pissed at both Lush and AD over comments they made about the Spencer interview without even watching it. And then Adam said, "What the fuck? I never even said that." I ain't gonna lie, man. Lush, man. And them niggas dimed you out, Lush, bro. Them niggas is trying to get you 100 years, bro. That's crazy.
That's crazy, cuz.
Okay. Anyway, I'll find out later. I'll do my deep dives later on. and get on it. But yeah, entertaining to say the least. Yes. Okay, cool. Moving on. Before we go to the Bapper stuff, have you guys seen this? Our favorite boy. I know some of you guys in the chat love this guy. He made another video about KHALYLA. This guy seems to have a real boner about KHALYLA. He seems to have just as much of a boner for KHALYLA as I have for Brendan. Think about that. Think about it. You thought about it? Cool. Let's go. So this is from the Comedy Enforcement. Made another video about KHALYLA KUHN has not changed. She has not changed. She doesn't want me. She's single now. She's not with Bobby and she doesn't want me. This is so horrible. And this video, I watched a little bit of it and it's flipping legitimately hilarious, man. How much vitriol this man seems to have for this woman. Like, honestly, can I just say this flat out? Because people always troll me in the comments to say I'm like a KHALYLA apologist and I want to fuck up myself. I don't give a fuck about any of these people. Please understand this. This is just all fun and games for me. It's never that deep. But let's just admit, let's just say this. Let's just say everything you say about KHALYLA is true. Let's say she's manipulative. Let's say she did, fuck over Bobby. Let's say all those things are true. Let's say they are true. So what? So what? That was Bobby's ex-girlfriend. Bobby's somewhat fiance. If he got duped and spun around the block and she wrapped him around his little finger, that's his problem. The man's nearly 60 years old. Why are you trying to baby him and make it seem like he was some unbeknowing young kid YouTuber, some 21-year-old that didn't know too much, and KHALYLA kind of put him under her wing and tried to guide him through the industry, but along the journey she took advantage of him and diddled him. It wasn't that. It was mutually beneficial. Bobby Lee got a chance to hang out with a girl that a lot of people think the industry is very attractive. She added to him. And of course, she, being a nobody, got to ride off the waves of flipping Bobby Lee and make an entire career for herself. Right off the back of Bobby Lee. Mutually beneficial. She came in and kind of quote unquote helped him out. And she, in turn, helped him out to make him look appealing. Because sometimes in life, I know it from my experience, sometimes if you have no luck with women, just having one lady that's into you, even if they're not that hot, just because they're into you, other ladies may be like, you know what, if that girl likes him, he must be really cool. And then suddenly you got other options. It can help. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. She got to get clout and get fame and have this career where she is now a media figure, a content creator herself, even though she probably has the flipping personality of a cardboard box. And Bobby Lee got the chance to prove to everybody that he's not gay. It's all good. It's all good. Everybody won. Why are fans so hell-bent on hating her though? I don't understand this. Her poetry might be shit. Okay, cool. She might be annoying on pod. And again, this is something I've known from Tiger because I used to watch Tiger Belly. People used to get annoyed with her all the time. I've watched this video. I might have, let me maybe get it up on here. Because I think this is very important to check out. But I know, because I used to not like watching Tiger Belly sometimes when she was on. And when she wasn't on, it was super fun. And I know she can be annoying, right? I've said it many times already. That video of her crying about George Floyd and making it all about herself is peak entertainment, because you can see everybody in the crew, Bobby Lee included, and George struggling to figure out what to do and how to communicate, how to interact with it because she's so redacted. That's funny, right? Let's get that up on here. KHALYLA crying. Right? Please. Let's go and see this. So I'm not the biggest fan of the lady herself, right? But she's just funny when she cries. Let's see what she's crying about flipping. She's crying about BLM. Where is it? Someone got it on here, or has no one got it here? No one clipped her crying about George Floyd. They must have clipped it. Statistic. Raw. No one's caught up. Okay, let's do George Floyd. George Floyd. Okay, there you go. It should be here. Someone should have a clip of her crying about George Floyd. Oh, okay, I spoke about it. Oh, no one clipped the actual clip itself. Okay, it's here. Okay, it's here. It doesn't matter. It's here. Let's go back on here. And then we continue, because I don't understand the hate for this. It's just too much for me personally. But let's see. It must be on here, because I guess that's where I left the clip when I watched it last time. Let it load up again. My computer's slow. Please do apologize for this brief interruption. Come on, MacBook, come on.
I don't have...
Yeah, there we go. Look at her already. This lady's fucking ridiculous, right? So, cool. Laugh at her about crying about George Floyd and making it all about her, right? Because I don't know, all the mandingos in the world were not going to be outside for her or something. I don't know what the deal was, but let's just roll back a little bit and see. This is fucking beautiful. Look at her face.
One step further. I think the problem with a lot of people, including myself, and I can only speak on behalf of myself, I suppose. I'll tell you my experience is I gave myself pass after pass after pass. Immigrant mom, gave myself a pass. Grew up in a third world country, gave myself a pass. Went to a predominantly black high school, gave myself a pass. Have a black best friend, gave myself a pass. Dated black men, gave myself a pass. I gave myself a pass and exempted myself from any type of introspection. And I gave myself a pass from possibly checking myself.
So while she was getting her back broken in by some Tyrone guy, she thought it would be good to pontificate about the plight of black people in America, right? While she's getting her back blown out, she should have been pontificating about the slave trade.
About all these little insidious, bad, racist habits that I've picked up along the way.
Ooh, he's black. He must have a big one.
Like, I'm willing to wear the black hat. I think that all of us should be wearing a black hat. I think we should all be.
Whoa. What if you're not into black people, though? That's okay. We'll have preferences. What if you're not into them? Does that mean you're racist? If you don't like black guys?
Ashamed of ourselves. I think that we've been really defensive about, no, I'm not racist. Yeah, we fucking are. Have we made mistakes on this podcast? So many. When we call them mud Asians, so many. When we make fun of Indians, so many. When we call black people greasy, so many.
Hey, relax. I'm not greasy. I sweat a lot. A lot of sweat comes out of the pores of my face sometimes when I'm on MDMA or other drugs, but I'm not greasy, okay? I use moisturizer, specifically Palmer's cocoa butter. It doesn't mean I'm greasy. It means I keep myself hydrated. I take offense to that, okay? I'm not greasy. I'm well moisturized.
All I'm saying is...
do we say Gook?
Gook, yes.
Yeah.
Look, all I'm saying is, like, I can only speak for myself, and I'm telling you guys right now, I'm sad, I'm confused, but most importantly, I'm just so ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed that I've exempted my own loved ones from their own racism because I thought that they were inherently good people and that should be enough. I'm ashamed that they exempted me from my own bad behavior. Like, I'm ashamed.
I hope some Tyrone slid in her DMs when this happened and said, look, how ashamed are you really? Meet me in 10 minutes at the local Starbucks. I hope someone did that just as a troll. How ashamed are you? Are you free in 30 minutes?
Ashamed of having friends I never check, from never reaching out in my own community and trying to, like, do little things. I'm ashamed that I've been quiet. I might as well, this is how I view myself. I just might as well be that same person watching black people get lynched during Jim Crow.
What? You're watching that? Where did you get that footage from? Does Live Leak have footage of Jim Crow lynchings? Are people out here watching lynches like they're watching beheadings and shit? What? This is a pastime.
That's me. I've sat here quietly because I've been so afraid of having difficult discussions I'm scared of misspeaking. I'm scared of saying the wrong thing. I'm scared of criticism. But I think that I'm done with that. Like, I am absolutely a big ball of useless dust on the ground. And I have completely ripped my own ideals apart. I don't like who I've become. I don't like the friends that I've kept. And I want to change. And I don't have the power to do much else than to fix my fucking heart. Like,
look, I'm laughing at this. This is hilarious, but I don't see why people look at this as a performance. This is definitely coming from a real place. It just comes across really strange. Like, she legitimately made a whole George Floyd, having, being unable to talk about certain things, or maybe not, because I think the whole George Floyd thing did it to a lot of people, right? For some reason, it's not for some reason. I understand why, because some people just don't pay attention to things and are focusing on their own life. For majority of people in America who are not black, the George Floyd thing maybe made them aware of police brutality and how crazy it can be. Because I think around the same time the George Floyd thing happened, if I'm not mistaken, in the US, do you remember that white guy, that old guy that got pushed by the cops and his head flipping smashed the flipping floor and he was just on the floor, like, looked like he was dead bleeding and shit, and the cops never got fired from it, right? Everyone saw these instances of police brutality happening, and it wasn't just a black thing. It was like a thing affecting everybody, right, during the protests and whatnot. And I think it kind of opened up some non-black people's eyes to what police brutality actually looks like. And the fact that you watch that George Floyd video, and even though the guy was clearly high off his mind and clearly not complying, the fact that he was a big black dude didn't make that encounter as maybe easy and as kind of, you know, whatever. It didn't make it as easy as maybe it would have if it was like a smaller white dude. The fact that it was a big, intimidating black kind of guy freaking out, it kind of led the cops to freak out, and they treated him, you know, terribly, to the point where he basically, you know, was underneath the guy's flipping knee and, you know, basically died there right in front of them. So I think it opened people's eyes to what happened there. And she's in a really, as Uche said, in a really kind of awkward way. She's trying to, oh, my back right now. She's trying to sympathize with it and connect with it. But of course, standard LA shit, she's making it all about herself. But I don't think she's performing. I don't think these are fake tears. She's just really struggling to work out how to make it make sense. Cool. For whatever reason, people in the comedy community or fans in general, they absolve, for instance, like, let's just agree and say she is a bad influence. But I don't understand why she's the bad influence, but Bobby doesn't get any smoke either. Like, Bobby Lee just is okay to just be an adult baby, legitimately. The guy's nearly 60 years old. And what? He allowed himself to get spun by this woman who just arrived from the Philippines, what, only a few years ago, whatnot. Like, why isn't there an accountability on his side of things? I don't understand this. Like, it's very bizarre, this whole sense of like misdirection or like not attributing the right amount of flipping blame and hate to some people. And also, this is a relationship issue. It doesn't really matter anyway in the grand scheme of things why they broke up. They broke up for something, like maybe miscommunication, different expectations, whatever. But the way people go in on KHALYLA is so bizarre to me. I don't know why the hate for her is this strong, especially post Bobby breakup, because this is what everybody wanted. No one really liked KHALYLA anyway. Now she's out of his life. Why are people bothered about it? The
biggest ongoing wounds that I can't seem to heal is this feeling that I...
Whoopsie, Coach just said she's been in States for almost 30 years. My bad.
People just hate me, right? It's probably been the hardest 8 years of my life.
You talk to your sponsor. Very simple. You stay out of it.
I know.
Yeah.
I am out of it.
Brought it up.
You brought this up to me. I didn't bring this up to you.
Today?
No, when we were on a couple weeks ago, you said, I think that I have a problem with...
I know, but saying it on the thing is, you know...
Yeah, we could take all of this out.
We don't have to.
Did you get a new maid, by the way? Or is it still KHALYLA's mom?
KHALYLA's mom.
It's still your maid? That's beautiful.
No, it's a control thing, I think.
Oh.
I mean, the other day I go, hey, I want to come over to your new house and see the dogs. She goes, not today. I go, why? You have a guy over? She's like, yeah.
On May 5th, 2022, KHALYLA...
He hates KHALYLA. This guy hates KHALYLA. KHALYLA.
KUHN dropped one of the biggest nukes in the comedy world during a live broadcast of the H3 podcast. Now, back then, it was very clear to everybody that it was her idea to come after Brendan Schaub publicly in order to try and gain control of the narrative.
What? Did he not watch the same video? Didn't Annie start by insinuating about the drug walk thing? And then she came in and said, oh yeah, that guy, I know him. We know his girl. Annie started it. She's the one that was, and if you watch the whole entire podcast, they're talking about guys in general and doing what women do on pods, ranting about relationships and boys and stuff. And then Annie, I guess, in the midst of her rant, remembers, and this fucking unfunny fuck decided he thought you'd invite me. You know what I mean? She kind of got angry and got lost in her words and just kind of ranted about it. The other girls knew who she was talking about because they'd clearly spoken about it behind the scenes. And then KHALYLA mentioned it. She didn't mention it. It wasn't some calculated thing. It was just spur of the moment from what I saw anyway. And also, if you engage somebody, I've always said this, right? If you engage somebody in conversation and you're trying to chat them up, especially if it's somebody like a woman or whatever, and it goes south, they have every right to air you out if they want to. Like, you've engaged them in the conversations two-way. You're both in this conversation together. So if they decide to air you out and, you know, leak how embarrassing you are in the DMs, it is what it is. The price of the game that you play. So this idea that she should have said it is like, why? Why shouldn't she said it? That's her experience. She allegedly was offered a truck walk by Brendan. She didn't like it. She aired him out. KHALYLA allegedly got a suggestive DM from Brendan during Christmas or something, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why it's wrong. I don't get why that's wrong. In the least. I don't understand this. It's so bizarre, the whole thing.
And protect herself with zero regards for Bobby Lee's reputation. However, the whole thing completely backfired, and people actually started to notice that she would completely lie, manipulate Bobby, and a clear inability to take responsibility or accountability for her actions. It's already been 10 months since the entire drama happened, and well...
Yeah, exactly. What you call it? Big up Megan Lindsay. Like, honestly, like, it feels like I'm going insane because for the most part, when I do these streams, I try my best not to talk about relationships and family stuff because it doesn't matter. I think these guys themselves and these girls are already entertaining enough with just what they say about themselves. You don't need to involve their relationships, what their wives do, what their kids do, what they look like. It's just that stuff is gross. I keep it to one side. But if you do want to get involved and talk about them, because clearly they're a duo, they used to be a duo, Bobby Lee and KHALYLA, and they, you know, the majority of the success of Tiger Belly was because of them two being together in that dynamic. Cool. It's offensive to everybody that you don't recognize how toxic they were to each other. As Megan says here in a comment, right? Exactly. Even Bobby said himself he was sleeping with other person. It was in part because he was whacking off in corners 6 times a day, watching porn and refusing to touch her. But it's her fault. Exactly. We all know this. We know that he was always saying he'd avoid having sex for whatever reason, whatever he was going through. He'd be on his computer all the time. He'd be watching porn obsessively. He was going through his bouts of being sober and not being sober. He had his issues, and it kind of impacted the relationship. And then clearly she had her freak side that she wanted to kind of, you know, she wanted to indulge in, which is her prerogative. And it didn't work out. It is what it is. I don't understand why it's so complicated. This is so weird. Or why it's so late, and why people are like, oh, she's so conniving. It's just like, huh? Do you guys honestly think Bobby Lee is like a catch as a boyfriend? I know we like him as a personality, as a comedian, but do you really think Bobby Lee is a catch as a boyfriend or a husband? Really? Would you like Bobby Lee to be your dad? Like, for real? Like, imagine Bobby Lee's your dad. Are you guys for real? Like, what? I love the guy. He's funny and shit. But come on, man. He's like an adult baby. Like, come on. Mr. Singh, I'd date him. Yeah, I'd smash.
Nothing has changed.
And it's hard to be online. It's incredibly hard to be online. I don't even have the words. I think one of the biggest like ongoing wounds that I can't seem to heal is this feeling that people just hate me, right? And it's like,
do you ever think that
to be fair though, they've always hated you, KHALYLA. That's one thing which I've never really understood why people who are in the media spotlight don't understand. And I think that's why maybe Logan Paul and Jake Paul are so successful. They realize people hate them and they kind of lean into it. Jake and Logan are under no illusions that people like them. Even Jake Paul is a good example because he goes after the UFC, he goes after Dana White for the lack of fighter pay, but he knows people just like him for that, but they still hate him as a person. So they lean into the hate and it's made them multi-millionaires. Maybe in Logan Paul's case, he's going to be a multi-billionaire soon with a Prime. But for whatever reason, guys in the comedy community don't seem to get why people like or dislike them. And they just try their best to try and convince them like that it's not true. I don't know, it's a weird thing. It's like, KHALYLA, you've always been hated. The Brendan thing kind of made people like her a bit more because Brendan was obviously hated more, but she was never liked. No one ever liked KHALYLA on Tiger Belly, from what I understand. They had some good pods here and there, but she was always annoying, from what I remember reading on the subreddit. No one ever kind of found her a good addition. You know, she sometimes was a bit of a joke killer, in the same way people don't like Christina P at your mum's house. So that I don't really understand. But anyway, let's continue.
maybe it would be a good idea to lean into the Reddit stuff and start selling truck merch?
No.
Okay. That's all. That was my
Let's land the plane.
Again, KHALYLA, I think if I got like...
you put out content about yourself and you say things like, I accept that my life is up for consumption. I've been podcasting for 10 years and this is what makes me money. This is the livelihood I chose. All of the things that they're saying to you and you having to accept that it's probably been the hardest 8 years of my life.
The original video of the therapy session between KHALYLA and the professional had more dislikes than likes, and for a good reason.
Oh, relax. It's probably all you. It's not that bad. Come on. More dislikes than this guy, man.
It wasn't the best. Now, I don't fully blame the health professional because I don't know her. I don't know much about her. And I don't think that she is up to date.
But you know KHALYLA well, huh? Huh? You know KHALYLA well because you read a couple poems, don't you, right?
With the entire KHALYLA madness. Because if she did, she could have called her out for being a complete hypocrite when it comes to receiving hate online. Because back then when the entire Brendan Schaub drama happened and he was on the podcast, on the Tiger Belly podcast, she actually told him that he should lean into the hate, into the subreddit hate, and that he would potentially have a better time doing that because her and Bobby Lee actually got a similar amount of hate as Brendan Schaub, which is clearly not true.
We all know, that we get harassed, you know what I mean, and things said about us on the internet. But
mine's
with her,
different, Bubba.
Huh?
Mine's.
I know it is, but I'm just saying.
I would say mine is on par with yours.
Look at these fucking redacts. My hate is better. My hate is more. The host of the show saying that everyone's a redact in this case.
Like, do you ever think that maybe it would be a good idea to lean into the Reddit stuff and start selling truck merch?
No.
Okay. That's all. That was my
Let's land the plane.
Again, KHALYLA, I think if I got like the
And I actually made a petition to not be mean on the internet anymore.
That says petition to no be mean.
And
You spelled
think-
not wrong.
I think we should no be mean on the internet. I have stickers. There's different colors you can use.
I love
no more
Annie.
mean on the internet, especially to these good guys.
Okay, that is true. It is a bit of hypocrisy. But let's be honest. It's obvious why the hypocrisy happened because it's happening to her. It's easy to tell Brendan to lean into the hate when it's not you. Like I've said before many times on the stream, it's quite admirable that Brendan's able to actually get up in the morning and continue doing podcasts and going on tour and doing his shows, knowing, number one, forget us detractors and us people that are on the side that quote haters or whatnot, homeless cats. His own peers, he knows people in his own community don't think he's funny. They don't like him. They think he's absolutely horrible at what he does, right? So that must be really, really horrible. But he still gets up and does it anyway. So credit to him, because I know I couldn't do it if I was Brendan. The same thing goes to leaning into the hate. It's one thing to tell Brendan to lean into the hate, but if you got the kind of hate that Brendan Schaub got, you probably would find it difficult to lean into it, especially if you had the ego that he has and you're unable to be self-reflective, you lack in self-awareness, you're a narcissist, you're thin-skinned. It's just difficult to lean into it because nothing in your temperament is set up for you to lean into it. You have to be a certain type of person to get the joke, to kind of diffuse it in that way. It's not for everybody. And KHALYLA, clearly being a bit sensitive, isn't going to lean into it that well when people are coming at her the way they're coming at her. So obviously that makes sense. So the hypocrisy, her being a hypocrite or being, talking at both sides of her mouth in that regard, I can kind of understand that it's not that big of a deal really, because it's happening to her now, so it's completely different.
Months later, she actually says that she cries and doesn't understand why she is so hated online. Even though her little girly talk was what sparked a huge fallout.
Her little girly talk. This guy hates her so much. Did you catch that? Her little girly talk. Did you hear what he said? Look.
She is so hated online. Even though her little girly talk was what sparked a huge fallout between two longtime friends and professional comedians. So because of that...
No. Bryan Callen ruined that because Bryan Callen was cucking for Brendan. KHALYLA didn't cause that. Honestly, I'm sorry. And I do this myself. If you dare to shoot your shot with somebody on the DMs of a message, SMS calling, and it goes south, or even if it goes well, because you engage in a conversation with another person, they have every right to share what you said with anybody they want. They send it to Daily Mail, Dexterto, the Shade Borough, academics. They can do whatever they want with that information because you engage them in a conversation to try to seduce them to do something with them, whatever it may be. It's the price that you pay for playing the game. If you don't want to play the game, guess what you do? You go and hire a lady of the night. You paid a lady of the night, whatever the rate is that they get paid. You maybe go to a massage place, quote unquote. You do other things if you don't want to involve yourself in that regard. But if you do want to get yourself involved with an adult person and try to seduce them in some way, whether they're married, not married, single, whatever it may be, you run the risk that your chat and correspondence may get shown to people. It's just price that you have to pay. This idea that they shouldn't have said nothing is ridiculous. Bryan flew off the handle because he's Brendan's friend and he went to back him up. And he's the one that fucked up the relationship with him and Bobby Lee. He should have been more understanding and took a chill pill and not been so quick to jump out the window for Brendan. But again, Bryan's salary and checks are intrinsically tied to Brendan's ability to do podcasts and get sponsorship. So maybe in his head, it was like a fight or flight thing. He wanted to make sure that he kind of just had a check there ready to go. So, you know, I can kind of understand why he did it, but to put that on KHALYLA is fucking insane.
I thought it was a bit weird that the therapist was not asking any hard questions whatsoever. So I did a little bit of research.
YouTuber criticizing therapists as to why they're not grilling a girl about her random relationship that she had with somebody. Oh my God, this is hilarious.
And from what I found, there seems to be a lot of people that disagree with her and have actually called her out and even called her out for not being...
Oh my God, here we go. Here we fucking go. What did you think? Did you think she was a fucking fully... Like, any therapist that's on fucking YouTube, you know, getting themselves involved in comedy drama, you can probably guess for the most part, they're not legit. It just is what it is. What did you think she was? Legitimately, what do you think they were? This is turning into another beef now. Are you noticing a pattern there?
being able to take any criticism. Again, I don't know anything about that professional, but during the conversation with KHALYLA, she did say something that I thought was a bit odd for a therapist or a health professional.
Those people don't really know you. That's what I try to tell myself when people try to say that I'm stupid or I'm ignorant or I am whatever they want to say. That they've never met me. And then like the like feisty part of me is like, say it to my face, bitch. Because I know nobody would. You would never talk to someone like that in public, and you would never say something like that. Think about what it would take for you to get online and to spout hate about someone.
KHALYLA also mentioned that the reason...
Okay, fair enough. That was a bit of a crazy thing to say as a therapist. Yeah, so B-Tech therapist. Okay, she's a B-Tech therapist. But what's Dr. Drew and all these guys? You know, it is what it is, isn't it? It's a content game. I'm not expecting them to be fucking fully fledged therapists. They're actually helping people. You know what I mean? Because they'll be out there helping people. But it's just some nonsense things to get clicks and views and to make money on content. It is what it is.
Why she receives a lot of hate is because she puts her life out there, her personal life out there online, and that's her job. However, that's not the strongest argument, in my opinion, because there are other entertainers, podcasters like Theo Von, who are very vulnerable. They share a lot of personal stuff on the podcast. And
comparing KHALYLA to Theo is fucking insane. And this therapist like, what? Oh, this guy's a fucking redact.
Still has some of the most loving fan base. To this day, I still have not heard one single negative thing about Theo Von. I might be wrong, but I think that's true. So when KHALYLA says something like that, it completely ignores the fact that there is a lot of video evidence that damages her reputation, and she continues to do so to this date. This might sound silly, but the most recent example is of her saying that she wasn't going to date anybody for a long time and she was going to be single and whatever after the breakup. However, it's only been a few months, maybe 1 or 2 months.
Why do you fucking care? Why does this matter? This is Bobby Lee's issue. It's not even his issue anymore. They've broken up, haven't they? Does it matter if she gets a fucking train ran on her? Who cares? What is this stuff, man? None of Tiger Belly fans liked her anyway to begin with. Now she's broken up with them, with fucking Bobby Lee. She's moved out of the house and they still have her name in her mouth. Like, what more do you want from this lady? Like, honestly, do you want her to go to the flipping monastery and turn into a nun or something? Like, what do you want? Like, what's gonna like stop talking about this girl? And she's not even that like compelling of a person. She's a little bit dense. Like, I don't understand why this is so into like, huh?
That her and Bobby are no longer living together. She has her own place and she has already moved on.
Did you get a new maid, by the way? Or is it still KHALYLA's mom?
KHALYLA's mom.
It's still your maid? That's beautiful. Because you're connected to her. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
No, it's a control thing, I think.
Oh.
From with who?
From you want to have some sort of control still.
I need to know things.
Yeah.
You want to be able to, you know what I mean, ask questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, the other day I go to KHALYLA, I go, hey, I want to come over to your new house and see the dogs. She goes, not today. I go, why? You have a guy over? She's like, yeah.
Oh, she just said yes.
And I go, okay.
Does that hurt you?
What guy? That's all I want to know.
So it's recently been brought to my attention that...
That's weird, no? For a grown man to be doing that, no? He wanted to get out of that relationship, right? He did it. In my opinion, I think guys usually speak by their actions. You're not touching the girl. You're not being intimate. You're not fulfilling her in that side of things. You're having these weird conversations on the podcast that clearly you guys are butting heads and stuff, whatnot. You sleep in separate beds. All these things kind of, in my opinion, are little actions that guys do, because guys that usually don't have the bravery or the stomach to really say, hey, I'm not happy, I want out. A lot of guys will do a thing, which I've kind of done in the past also, where you try and make the person hate you so they break up with you first or whatever it may be. That's what Bobby Lee's done. She leaves. It ends. And then now you're what? Keeping Kalila's mum as a maid so that you can get goss on her. Asking her questions about her personal life. Wanting to come over to see the dogs, but also to hang out. That's suspect as well, isn't it? Aren't they both suspect on both sides of things? She can't stop talking about him. He can't stop talking about her, but they're clearly not compatible as people. That's it. Can we just move on? Like, no one cares about these people. Like, why is this going out? All this time wasted, Bobby Lee still hasn't put out a fucking special. That's the main thing. You know, like, he's still going on stage doing jokes from like 10 years ago. I've seen clips of him performing on stage. It's good, funny, but he doesn't write a lot of new material. He's been known for doing that, writing with the same routine for ages. Super talented, I get. Really good comedic actor. But come on, brother. Wasting time.
By people that I've dated, that one of the biggest barriers to dating me is that I always put you first. You are always a priority. I feel like I've been groomed. I feel like I've been like hard, like.
Okay. She's gaslighting a bit. This is a bit manipulative as well. She's projecting. This is a bit insane, all right? This is a bit insane because clearly the grooming is on her side to him, not the other way around.
Program to just like be at your beck and call, like always.
Guy that we've had on that we're associated with, right? Liked her on Raya.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Went for her, right?
It's not good.
And now this guy has been texting me, hey, let's hang out.
But you know that he went in on Raya. You know he went for Raya.
Yeah,
he doesn't know that you know.
Because he never texts me, and it's been like 2 or 3 texts in a week, right? So I think he thinks he has there's a feeling, right? So let's hang out, let's pod, let's, you know what I mean?
Now here's
my story. My theory still runs true, because I don't get these comedians, man. I don't understand. Yeah, let's say this. My theory is still true. I think fundamentally the issue that Bobby Lee had, and where it was always going to lose with this KHALYLA thing when they first started out, is that for whatever reason, again, like, KHALYLA is not my type personally, but I can understand why people like her. But I also don't understand why people go on as if like she's fucking Beyonce, like in the comedy community. But then to be fair, it is a comedy community. So maybe compared to what the comedians have seen in their circle of what women look like, KHALYLA is like a 10, right? She stands out. So I think when Bobby Lee ended up hooking up with KHALYLA from the day zero, from the beginning, from back in the David Cho days when they first hooked up together, I think everybody in comedy was hating because no one really rated Bobby Lee like that as a man, right? They kind of looked down on him, the RE thing of him punching him up and stuff, and just the constant kind of micro bullying aggression he used to get in the comedy scene, he used to complain about. He kind of always felt awkward at the Comedy Store. He was always kind of regarded as like a funny guy, but as a man, no one really rated him. So when he hooked up with KHALYLA, she's like the model, quote unquote. Everyone's like, oh my God, she's so hot. She looks hotter than all our wives and all these bar girls that we hook up with in comedy clubs, right? And they all got gagged for it, but they couldn't understand how Bobby got her. They couldn't get it. They just couldn't get it, couldn't understand, couldn't accept it. And, you know, they just did slimy shit. And it kind of ate away at all of them because they all kind of felt like maybe they deserved her. They all felt entitled to her. So that negative energy has always kind of existed around them. So they were kind of always doomed, in my opinion, as a relationship, because people were always going to try and slip in and get in there because of that. Plus, add on top of that, sprinkling, KHALYLA's a bit of a freak, admittedly by herself. She likes to get trains run on her. She likes to have, you know, threesomes and foursomes. She's very sexually free and liberated. So I'm sure that word got out also. And when guys hear those type of things, the first thing that comes to their mind, instead of a woman just having preferences, like, you know, some guys like lesbian porn and whatever it may be, where for every reason with guys, if guys hear of a woman who has sexual preferences, they think that's immediately a reason that she's a whore. immediately. Guys are like, oh my god, she's a whore. It's like guys with like girls with lip gloss. Oh, she's got lip gloss on. She must be able to suck a dick well. It's just a bizarre way of thinking for dudes. We've all done it before, right? Or whatever maybe. So I guess they all got really excited and thought, oh my god, she's into all this freak shit. She must be a whore. So all their antennas went up. So it wouldn't surprise me at the same time they all found out about her being a freak, that her DMs got flooded. People started double tapping her pictures and shit, you know, replying to her Instagram stories. And suddenly this attention starts to become a little bit weird around the comedians, where they're all kind of vying for attention. And her being a woman in LA and stuff, maybe she enjoyed the attention, maybe she leaned into it a little bit too much and played with it. Then you add the fact of she's not getting anything at home, Bobby Lee's not giving her attention, and I think it all kind of came to a head at once. So all of those things conflated at one time. No one really rating Bobby, them thinking they all deserved KHALYLA more, KHALYLA being into, you know, being sexually liberated and wanting to try new interesting things, but Bobby not being into it, Bobby not paying attention and going through what he's going through in terms of his sobriety struggles, her getting all the hate from the Tiger Belly fans, and it all came to a head at once and it blew up. But I think it was doomed from minute zero. It was doomed from minute zero. And you can see why, because of this story that Bobby Lee mentioned about somebody, another comedian in their community, basically hollering and trying to shoot his shot at KHALYLA, knowing full well that he's Bobby's friend, which shouldn't be a thing. If somebody breaks up, again, bro code is always a fact of, if somebody, especially a long-term relationship, if somebody went out with if a girl went out with your friend, even if they broke up, that's off bounds, unless you don't want to be that guy's friend anymore and you want to, you know, cut relationship. But it's off bounds. You can never ever hook up with a friend's ex-girlfriend. It just never should be allowed. But the fact that they all see the blood in the water and they're all trying to make a move, it to me tells me a lot of how they saw and how they rated Bobby Lee, which I didn't rate him too much, to be honest. So it kind of is what it is. But I think the blame's on both sides.
The thing, if she is moving on, good for her, and who cares, honestly. And that's Bobby's fault, if anything, for not moving on already. But the fact that she is actually going on the podcast and trying to paint the narrative that she is unable to move on because Bobby actually groomed her into always putting him first before everybody else, including her new dates, is completely insane. It doesn't.
Bodybuilding.news. Again, not to be rude or anything, please don't take any offense to this. I know what you're saying here. She aborted the kid like 3 weeks of dating. This was always going no place, and that's been known since DSA. Please take no offense to anybody watching, but it's probably for the best that she aborted that baby. Bobby Lee's in no position to be anybody's dad, in my opinion. Again, I don't know the guy personally, and from what I see of the guy on podcasts and stuff, he has so many of his own issues he needs to kind of get together and work out before. I know having kids is no perfect time, but let's be real. Like, it was a good thing, you know? She aborting that baby was probably the best thing she could have done for him. Like, I'm sorry. Let's just speak openly here. Let's just speak openly. Bobby Lee's not ready to be anyone's dad. Like,
it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, it's very clear that the reason why they broke up it's because she wasn't putting Bobby Lee first, and because of that, she caused him to lose 2 longtime friends and then get into one of the biggest dramas in his life. So,
in your life, because you seem to care a lot about this show. Again, part of my theory is that, and also another part of my theory is that these guys all hold up Bobby Lee. Like, Bobby Lee to some guys is like Joe Rogan. I think this is what I'm mistaken, because I don't rate Bobby Lee as like a man, right? Because it's weird. Because I just think he's too much of a. It's like Bert. He's got too much Bert energy, too much of that adolescence. I fucking hate it. Maybe there's a part of me as well, because reflecting on it, maybe there's a part of me that thinks the reason why people hate that sort of stuff is because you can't do it, right? Because Bert's like in his 50s, Bobby Lee's in his 50s, and they get to like play. They get to hang around and fool around and drink all day, eat all day, indulge in their vices and just hang about and not grow up like what the rest of us do. We have to grow up, right? When you're 18, 21, 25, 27, 30, 35, you have to grow up at certain stages of your life. These guys don't get to grow up. They get to be in a state of perpetual adolescence. So maybe there's a part of me that's jealous that I don't have to do that, that I don't have the ability to do that. Maybe, who knows? I don't think so. But personally, as a human, I've never rated guys who are kind of kiddie in that regard. It's never sat well with me. I've always hated it. So when I see Bobby Lee and Bert doing this type of thing, it's never resonated with me. But I also have to understand that in some guys' eyes, Bobby Lee is like their Joe Rogan. they really hold this guy up to a pedestal. So when KHALYLA came, they all got really defensive. Like, no. You know what I mean? They didn't want her to like fuck up their guy. So I can understand it in that regard, but I still think it's weird. It's a little bit weird how hard they're going in on her. It's a little, because ultimately this is a relationship issue. It didn't work out. It happens. Move on.
I don't think that makes any sense at all. Bobby Lee couldn't even engage with that and just said some random generic half funny statements. But it wasn't until the most recent episode with
Okay, Bobby is one more breakup away from adult diapers. Exactly. This guy's a dent. Like, if he wasn't funny, like, he'd be one of those guys that you see like on kiwi farms and stuff. Like, let's be real. Like, I love the guy and stuff, but I don't know. I don't know.
With Dr. Drew, that KHALYLA was actually called out in real time for trying to manipulate Bobby Lee.
I have a question in regards to like Bobby's recovery, and we can obviously take this out if this is like too personal.
To me?
But, yeah, about you. But
Okay.
like just as like from like where I stand and what I'm.
So toxic. I have a question about his recovery. Like, what? On a podcast, she's so toxic. Oh my god, man, they're not compatible, man. They're just not compatible. Who does this? I have a question about you. Oh my god, she's the worst.
Observing, like, what happens if like, okay, you are free of the usual, you know, the drugs, but then I'm kind of seeing it like morph into.
She's judging him. Look at Dr. Drew's face. What?
Maybe like
Sex. It's usually where it goes, sex and gambling. So you talk to your sponsor. Very simple. You stay out of it.
I know.
Stay out.
Yeah.
I am
But
out of
shouldn't
it.
even brought it up.
Wait.
I mean, stay out of it.
But I normally that's what I have to do. I have to get everybody like, hey,
Exactly.
stay away,
That's what-
stand back.
Yeah.
Make sure you
Stand back, stand by. That's what
Have
Donald Trump
I
said.
have I generally stood back though?
Be a proud boy, okay? Stand
think
back and
you're
stand,
right.
stand by.
But I'm not saying don't bring it up. I'm saying like set a boundary, stand back.
I have stepped.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
completely
But-
like leave him to his
but-
own.
No, you just brought it up. You like, oh, that was good.
But January 6th will happen, and then you
But
go.
it's
You do your
so
thing.
subtle how this shit can take you out with gambling and sex and all this stuff. It really can get you going. So you must talk to your
Must
sponsor
what?
about that stuff. Talk to your
I
sponsor.
have no idea what you're saying. What is going on here?
Oh boy.
Well, may I defend myself?
You don't have to.
I want to.
Go ahead.
I know I don't have to, but
For
it's,
me.
you know, mindful.
I'd like to say something first.
How?
You brought this up to me. I didn't bring this up to you.
Today?
No, when we were on a couple weeks ago, you said, I think that
Standard woman shit a couple of weeks ago, and then they bring it up now. Standard woman shit happens all the time.
I have a problem with.
I know, but saying it on the thing is, you know.
Yeah, we could take all of this out.
We don't have to.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And watching KHALYLA talk to Dr. Drew as if she was a doctor herself and then getting horribly shot down is hilarious because she tried to frame Bobby Lee as an addict by using something that he told her in private and then putting it out on the podcast. And she knew that it was completely wrong because she kept saying that they could cut that out knowing that it was something very private. It's like saying, hey, between us, however, there are a lot of cameras pointing at you and a whole production team that is going to hear what you're about to say. So watching her react and trying to justify the reason why she brought it up is hilarious. Again, Dr. Drew has the authority, I guess you could say, to tell her to stay out of it. And if anything, she should have not been involved in any of Bobby Lee's relapses because, I mean, that could be a whole video in itself, but I don't think she was the best influence or the best help when it came to Bobby Lee's relationship with addiction.
Did he want to fuck Bobby himself or something? You should be doing backflips. If you're a Bobby Lee fan, you should be doing backflips so she's not in his life anymore. And instead you're pontificating about whether or not they're compatible or not. God almighty, man. Oh, you guys need to just give up.
Again, that's a whole nother video, but that also doesn't, completely make Bobby Lee innocent. Although Bobby Lee isn't the bad guy here, he has been enabling KHALYLA, trying to cover up for her and never really taking accountability or never really pushing her to take accountability for anything that they have done in the past year.
Asking what happened? What was your part of it?
There is no part.
You didn't. They just threatened you.
Anyway, I don't give a fuck anymore, man. Do guys not have friends who have partners that you don't like, or maybe that are not good for them? You just let it play out the way it does, and as a good friend, you just wait to pick up the pieces when they break up eventually, or when they don't, you're there to support them. It just is what it is. You don't involve yourself with them. You don't take part in it. You don't want. You just stay there and wait for your friend to come back to you, and just say, "Hey, you know what? Chill. Let's everybody chill, please." It's not that big of a deal. But, you know, in the same way these comedians all wanted to fuck KHALYLA secretly, that's why they were all maybe giving them bad vibes and they all leaped in when they found out she's a freak. It's in the same way these fans and in general all maybe had a flipping spice and a rice for flipping Bobby Lee themselves. And maybe some of them secretly went to fuck KHALYLA too, because I don't know, man. Being disinvested in relationships with these guys is weird. Weird, man. Weird. But hey, what do I know? Moving on, quick one to mention this because it makes me angry and somewhat frustrated that my idea is being copied and pontificated and smashed by people far more successful than me. So, a few months ago, I recorded this DJ live stream, as you can see on the screen. You see this DJ live stream I recorded, right? Pretty decent DJ live stream, I thought, all things considered. Look what I did with a DJ live stream. Usually with a DJ live stream, you see the person DJing, but you know what I did? I placed the camera so you can see my hands. Why did I do that? Because I'm wearing some very funky and trendy Supreme and Iraq gloves that I thought would be cool to have the camera focusing on my gloves as I'm DJing and playing these amazing beats and spinning them back and forward and going ooch, ach, Agostino, go, DJ Agostino, go, right? And clearly, right, the views were pretty decent, right? 1.5k for me DJing and being a nobody is all right. Not too bad, right? Not amazing, but it's pretty decent. I'm happy about that. But look what's happened. Look what's happened. These people decided, Hit Boy, Grammy Award-winning producer, Alchemist, legendary hip-hop producer and rapper himself, right? Decided to copy what I did and do the same thing. But he has the Supreme batting gloves on and a Supreme MPC machine. And look at the views that they got. Nearly 500,000 in 3 days. Why didn't I get that? So the question is in the chat, did they copy me? Right? Should I be making a Carlos Mencia type video? Joe Rogan, should I be calling out Hit Boy and Alchemist for copying me? Right? Do I deserve that? Did they see what I did? Right? Or should I just chalk it up to the game? What do you think? Who did it first? Hit Boy or Agostino? Hit Boy or Agostino? Who did it first, huh? Who did it first? Exactly, man. They're trying to. Hey, man. I got all these haters. That's what I've got. Haters, right? I've not got random YouTubers. I've got flipping Hit Boy and Alchemist coming after me. Grammy Award-winning producers, legendary producers, man. Fuck. Anyway, let's move on. So, Bert Kreischer was on The Fighter and the Kid, and it's as impressive as you would probably think it's going to be in terms of all the flipping laughs. We're going to watch it, do a watch along, and react to some of the stuff they said, and then we're going to keep continuing on doing what we need to do. So let's see what the vibes are saying here. This is going to be a festival of interrupting, of one-upping, of fake laughing, of name dropping, of ego stroking, humble bragging, wheezing, all that stuff in one. It's going to be a celebration of all those things that we know and love. The things that we know and love and sometimes hate about Bryan and Brendan are going to be turned up to the max now that flipping the human gasoline in Bert Kreischer is now there. The human gasoline. Thank you for saying my gloves are more dope, Megan. I appreciate you. And thank you everybody in the chat for saying that I'm the originator and Alchemist and Hit Boy copied me. Thank you for, protecting my fragile ego. I appreciate all of you. Okay, thank you so much. Now, talking about fragile egos, let's play this bloody clip and see how this podcast went.
This is really.
I had a moment because Sony and everyone I announced it today, and so everyone I'm working with was like, "That's a really original way to announce things." And I thought,
brilliant.
And I just hired this woman who's fucking amazing.
Announce what? What did he announce? I want to see what he announced. What did he announce that they're all fucking wanking about? Let's go to Bert Kreischer Instagram. What did he announce? I'm curious. What does this guy announce? Let's see. Something shit, I'm assuming. Let's see. What is it? Yes, his social media marketing is pretty good. I'm not going to lie, but let's see. What did he announce? What's the announcement that he announced? What is it? Is it any of this stuff? Is it the machines? Is it this? What is it? He's playing at Joe Rogan's Comedy Club. Which one is it? Is it this? February 17th. Is it that? I don't know what it is. It's something, right? What is it? It's not that. I don't know. Who gives a fuck? Let's go back to the video. Maybe he'll explain it.
At social media, and I thought, I wonder if I do that as a company, because I it's very easy for me to
I'd
think of
hire you.
ideas for you guys.
Yeah, you're so
because
good.
it's not me.
Yeah,
I would fucking be all over it. If you
Look at Bryan trying to get in, and already Bert moved his face. He's like, bro, you've been accused of rapes. I don't think I could have you next to my name. Bert's turning away the mic, honestly. So I'm going to pause this so often. Again, for those of you guys complaining about my pausing, please don't complain. If you do complain, just go watch the video yourself. I beg of you. It's here. It's the Fire and the Kid episode 877. I'm going to pause it a lot because these guys will be chatting shit anyway, so it's better to laugh this way. I do apologize if this is too excessive. I understand. I'll let it play out a lot of the times, but please, if you don't want to watch it yourself, just type into YouTube The Fire and the Kid episode number 877. Watch it yourself at your own leisure without the pausing, without my annoying voice.
if you're that good, I mean, I'm terrible at that stuff. That just watching that, I'm like, fuck. I wish I could
so
do that.
good,
dude. I feel like I wonder if I should. Like, I'm a pretty good comic, but I think I might be a better marketer.
You're good.
The Rinks, yes, I do. I do definitely miss ragging on the Rinks' Toho sandals. It actually upsets me that he's not wearing them anymore. They used to bring me a lot of joy to get angry about that thing because it's something that generally touches my balls. When I'm ragging and raging about those sandals, I'm not doing it as a bit. I'm legitimately annoyed. It pisses me the hell off. So yes, I am in short annoyed that he's got de-invested from that company because I wanted to create more content around it for sure.
You're good at both.
I don't know.
But you could do marketing down the road. You don't want to do that now. You don't need another.
It's like
you don't
it's
need
like
another,
Adam.
but you could do marketing.
Be a better marketer.
Why does Brendan pronounce both like that? Both.
I think you're good at both.
I don't know.
But you could do.
I think I might be a better marketer.
I think you're good at both.
Like, I'm a pretty good comic, but I think I might be a better marketer.
I think you're good at both.
Both.
But you could do marketing down the road. You don't want to do that now. You don't need another.
It's like
you don't need another
Adam
job.
22. Is he a better porn star or a better podcaster?
Very good question.
I've seen his porn and he really lays it down.
He's got a cock on
the
him.
kid's doing something.
I don't know. I watched
He's
that
double
and I'm like,
dipping.
I got to step my game up. I have a guy.
So it's not
Do
good
you?
enough to have a guy.
Do you?
It's not enough to have a guy.
No, I can walk you through everything I've done.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's not good enough. You need a shooter, and you need an editor, and you need a producer.
Full time.
Full time. And then I just hired one person strictly for social media who knows it. She fucking knows
So
it.
I should have somebody with a camera just around coming up with ideas all the time.
Actually, no. Just a phone. We shoot everything on phones these days.
Okay.
Because everything's fucking vertical, so you just shoot everything on fucking phones. And so I have a cameraman who just takes a phone around with him.
Okay, that's lazy.
And
I
just,
know, dude, it's so frustrating because before this, I bought a whole rig, DLSRs or whatever.
all you
I
need
bought-
is a phone.
All you need is a phone.
And you just have somebody follow you around and you basically
I come up with promos. So like one of my favorite ones I did was Joe Coy was doing.
I'm going to ask a question of my audience here. Me being a wannabe DJ and up and coming person who's trying to make it in that regard on the side of things, I'm not really, I would never want to be like a flipping, what's the thing called? I never want to be Diplo and that be my whole entire identity. I want to be one thing that I do on top of other things I do. That'd be my prime way of doing things. I know I'm talking about it weird now, but that's the way. If professionals are doing 200 dates a year, I'd want to do 50 dates a year. Best class, best festival, enjoy myself. Maybe because I want to pursue that career and I'm pursuing it now. Sometimes when they talk about the business of stand-up, these comedians on these podcasts, it interests me because it can be applied to DJing because it's like a solo pursuit, right? Stand-up and DJing is kind of similar in that regard. It's like one person on the stage. It's a similar type of branding and marketing online. So there's some parallels there. But I want to know, for you guys that are watching this and just watch it as just fans and don't have any interest in this stuff at all, does this stuff bore you, or do you get or is this interesting to hear them talk about comedy business and marketing and social media and film? Like I want to generally know, does this bore you? Because it kind of bores me, even though I kind of interested in it. I want to hear them just be funny and be silly and make up dumb things and stuff, like, you know, and make up jokes and poke fun at stuff. Like business side of stuff, I don't really care, you know, like that much. Even though I should care about it, it's very boring. What do you guys think? I want to know in the chat, what do you guys think? Do you like this business of stand-up talk that they do all the time? And it's not just one show. It'll be fine if they had one show that they all go on that's specifically aimed at talking about that kind of thing, like a show that talks about the business of stand-up, you know, special rates and ticket rates and what you get on this and all that sort of stuff. That would be quite cool, like an Inside Baseball podcast. But they do it on every show. Mr. Singh says, I love it. Andrew says, I don't care. People say I'm dreadful. Okay, people are indifferent about it then, I guess. Indifferent. I guess it's part of their lives, isn't it, I guess? So whatever. So there's a lot of indifference here in the chat. I feel like, okay, cool, fair enough. Indifference. They had nothing else in common. Okay, cool, fair enough, fair enough. Indifference I can see. Let's continue.
Doing these like
tour buses?
No, he goes, hey, Brooklyn, I love
People
this.
saying I don't mind it. The business chats for a bit, but it should be an entire subject. MM saying it's very self-important, like they need to prove it to themselves that they matter. Okay, cool, fair enough. Oh, Miss Singh says, bro, I hate it. Okay, it's fair enough. Sorry, my bad.
Promo. And I loved his promo. He goes, Brooklyn, check this out. And he covered the camera with his hands and then pulled back and revealed sold out arena. I was like, that's fucking dope. And then I was like, how would I do it? And so I was like, hey, Joe Coy, I've seen your promos, man. Check this out. And I put my hands over the camera and then I reveal and I'm totally naked in an empty stadium and I cover my dick. And I'm like, oh my God, that went wrong. I was just trying to tell everyone I'm going to be in Boston next week.
Right.
It's one of my favorite.
That's so funny. Is this you here?
Yeah, good at me hitting the home run.
If what I'm doing is bottom feeder content, where I'm basically reacting to people's content or sometimes live streaming other people's live stream, it's kind of bottom feeder stuff. What is this stuff then? Going on your social media and playing clips that you shared on your own social media on a podcast that most people have seen your social media posts. Like, what is that? Comments in the chat.
Good at me hitting the home run.
Look like John Kruk.
Look at this.
Let's go. Are we recording?
Is there music? Yeah, we're recording.
Oh, we're recording? Okay. These kids are fucking ballers.
They're from the high school?
Well,
Yes,
we should start by saying that I was talking to Jesus, your opener, said that he trained for this marathon and then he looks over and you were passing him and you ran 26 miles with no problem.
In all fairness, I think he had to take a shit 13 miles in.
Oh.
But yeah, no, look at this.
This is at your high school?
Is at my high school taking BP.
You're sneaky.
That's in Florida.
Athletic.
In Florida, right?
Good
Here we
spin.
go. Boom. There we go. Look at these
All
boys.
them
Look at these
go,
boys.
"Whoa."
Look at this. Look at this. Oh, fucking bat flip. Run the fucking bases. Bring it in, boys. This is your future. This is your fucking future. Your boy went yard.
Cancelled my Tim Dillon Patreon to donate here, bro. Way better content.
Yo, big up Courtney Kemper. Appreciate you. Thank you for the $4.99 cancel. But that's amazing praise. I do not accept it. I do not appear it at all in the slightest. I'm nowhere near as funny as Tim Dillon, but I do appreciate their support as always, my friend. Thank you, man. That's really, really nice. Thank you. Bloody hell, Tim Dillon's getting it from all shots.
Call my high school girlfriend.
Were you a
tell her I
baseball
still got
player?
it. Yeah, I was.
Wait, when's the last time you hit balls?
When we did Fully Loaded.
What? His brain short circuited. When's the last time you hit balls? And why did just say balls? balls. Where's the W in balls?
Wait, when's the last time you hit balls?
When we did Fully Loaded last year, we were drunk and the team showed up and they were like, "Hey man, we heard you play baseball." I said, "Yeah." And they go, "You want to take some BP?" I never say no to BP. I have a hard time stopping. And so I go, "Yeah." And Attell's like, "I got $100 says he doesn't hit it out of the infield." And I was like, "I'm about to take Attell's money."
Yeah, I'm about to take all your
And so
money.
I one-hopped it off the fence. And their pitcher said to me, "That's with no pace." And I went, "What?" And he goes, "That's no pace on it. That's me just like tossing it in. If I had tabbed it at the pace, that might have gone yard on a wood bat." So in my head, I'm like, "Oh, I know I can hit it out with a steel bat. I know I can hit it with a little pace."
Yeah.
And their pitcher that we used to play for the Padres, the coach used to play for Padres, he was putting pace on it like a little fast for me in Miami.
Don't you find it hilarious though? This is a hilarious story. Bert's clearly got something with baseball. Clearly he's got some, I don't know, people just get given gifts that they don't properly respect. And, clearly looking at this guy, he didn't respect the gift of baseball and didn't really bother being professional in any kind of way or taking it further. But he's clearly good at it. He's probably better at baseball being fat as he is and as unhealthy as he is looking wise than Brendan is right now if Brendan tried to roll with somebody in a cage or tried to, spar with somebody. Right, being out of UFC for so long, or even play football, like catching practice. If he tried to run routes, right, wherever, he'd be horrible at it. Whereas Bert, being a fat, overweight alcoholic, is better at playing baseball right now, taking his t-shirt off and just trying it out, than Brendan would be trying to spar or trying to play football. For goodness sake, Dark Web J, common sense. Dark Web J says baseball is a fat man's game. Fair play. That's true. That might be true. Damn it. My whole theory got thrown out the window. Okay, fair play.
You're scared. And so, and I had one that hit the fence in left field, and that's when I was like, I'm in. I just need one pitch inside, and I pulled it, hit it over the fence in left field, 310.
When you wake up in the morning, are you saying to yourself, always be promoting? Always be promoting.
I used to be really bad. I'm better at it now.
Brian wants help badly. See how he circled back to the promo marketing things. Brian needs all the help he can get, but Brian doesn't understand the worst thing you could do for fucking promo is rapes. No, don't you think? It's probably next to diddling, right? Maybe Chris is lucky because he's got an actual cult as fans, but it's pretty difficult to like market yourself on social media if you've been known to rape. Even if it's not true, it must be hard to put money behind Instagram ads when your name might be like, blacklisted, like because of the stories of you raping. I don't know, maybe, who knows?
But I used to be really bad at it where I'd have dates in my head, I have them memorized. And so I'd always be ready. So if anything happened, I could turn to the camera and go
rip a promo.
I'd have, well, it was when I did the first tour I did, Body Shots World Tour. Everything rolled out and I knew all my dates because I'd pictured them on a map. And then, and now I've got so many different things I'm promoting that I'll tell you how it goes. I got Tops Off World Tour. I've got my special Razzle Dazzle coming out March 14th on Netflix, streaming right now. You can check out my Machine movie coming out Memorial Day weekend, only in theaters. Go to the machine.movie for a special pre-taped event, or a live event that's going to happen Thursday in theaters. And then
he's so much more successful than them. It must be eating away at them. They are nowhere near having a movie made about them. Nowhere near having a special on Netflix. Both of them. And he's just the most industry, name droppy, all about me, fame hungry guy ever. It must be so hard to listen to this because all the stuff he's talking about with his marketing, it helps because he's well liked on social. His content does really well. He gets loads of engagement online. His fans flipping love him during the pandemic even. Remember he did that car show thing? Not for me personally, but he did that car show comedy thing and he sold them out. There were bare people like in cars, like watching him perform on the screen and shit. Bert's got proper fans. They love the fuck out of him. It's a complete opposite. They love him even though, despite his shortcomings, the fake laugh, the alcoholism, the anxiety, the drug addiction, they love him in spite of that. Whereas those guys are kind of judged on the things that they do and say way harshly.
Just announced Fully Loaded. We got Dave Attell, Lewis Black, Mark Norman, Shane Gillis, Tiffany Haddish, Tammy Pescatelli,
Brendan
Chad
Shaw,
Daniels,
Bryan
Jim
Callen,
Norton,
Bryan Shaw, Bryan Callen, Brendan Shaw,
Ralph Barbosa. I mean,
Brendan Shaw.
it's fucking full. It is the sickest lineup.
Look, no, I have to do that. Look at Bryan Callen's face. Look at Bryan Callen's face. Why am I not invited? Look at his face. Look at his face. Why am I not invited? Look at Brendan. Hello, darkness, my old friend. But look at Bryan. Honestly, that's why I said this. I knew this would be quality because Bert is like what they want to be. Right, and he's unapologetic about it, and I think Bert also, given all these given all these things that people don't like about him, I think he's really way more self-aware than those guys are. He knows he's a flipping clout demon. He knows he's a name dropper. He knows he loves fame. He knows he legitimately does go on tour to stay away from his family because he prefers to be on stage telling jokes with his t-shirt off, drinking with fans and shit, than hanging out with his daughters or hanging out with his family. He knows this to be the truth, and he kind of embraces it. He lies to himself about the weight loss. He lies about the drug addiction, about the alcoholism, whatever. He knows the Mickey Mantle gene's been a thing, but these guys, they don't know. They don't know. They refuse to believe it. But he's kind of congruent in it, and he's riding to the success of it. He's got a movie coming out about his fucking life, a tired story. It's just like, it's so hilarious. Netflix co-signs. All these podcasts get 100,000 views in 24 hours plus. Promotions coming out of his ass. He has a whole van where he hires people to go on the road with him, drinking shows, food shows. Look at these two. Him and Tom did a NASCAR thing recently, like, and these two just on the periphery. Oh, he's fucking hilarious. Anyway, Bryan Callen's face is fucking beautiful. Why am I not on that list? Too many rapes, mate. Too many rapes. You're bad for business.
I could have ever put together. And then we're doing 2 cities, 2 weeks in June and 2 weeks in July. And then I have the Australian Tops Off tour. I have so much shit to promote.
I love his one in LA because it's so singular. Bert doesn't even feel awkward saying what he's saying without inviting them. You know, sometimes if you're like bragging about something or something nice happened to you and you know your friends are maybe struggling, you kind of temper your happiness to not make them feel bad. No, LA's not like that. LA's cutthroat. LA's like all about you, singular pursuit. When you're struggling, LA's about the community. You help each other out. You bring yourself on shows. But remember, you pop, you're off. There is no team. There is no community when you pop, when you become famous. No one else matters. It's just you. So Bert feels no way, doesn't feel bad at all about what he's doing.
Like,
damn, crushing it.
Yeah, but
that movie trailer looks so dope. You know, when your buddy makes a movie, you're like, okay, have fun, and then you know it's like, okay, good luck with that.
When your buddy makes a movie, what buddy of yours made a movie? Like the movie that you were in. What does he play? He plays like Hitman number 4 at the back with no lines.
It's a legit. Have you seen the trailer?
No, I want to see the trailer.
You're like,
you want to see the trailer?
No, I want to.
I repost. Hey, everybody, let's fucking get this thing going.
Of course, Bryan Callen hasn't seen the trailer, but he wants to be on his show. Of course, he hasn't seen the trailer.
I don't know the story of the machine. I don't know that story.
Oh my god, Bryan Callen is so annoying. Oh. This is his way of trying to get personal and ingratiate himself with Bert. And look what Brendan's doing. See this guy? Look what I have to deal with.
No,
I'm sorry.
I know. I know you told it on Rogan.
By the way, right now there's
people are so
there's
mad.
400,000 people going, please don't start this.
Yeah.
I know.
Please don't make it tell a story.
We don't have
but
to,
also,
and I'll look it up.
Also, the movie is about the story.
So that's
look. So the machine story has 51 million views. That's what blew Birdie up.
Yeah.
But then also,
I always think, again, maybe I'm reading too much into it. I always feel like that not knowing stuff, because we all see stuff online. We all know we saw stuff. Like, you may not know the whole entire premise of the machine story. The whole entire story in detail, but you know the premise of it, even if you haven't watched the whole video. So I always feel sometimes when these comedians say, I didn't watch the special, I didn't see that clip, it's a kind of a weird, dismissive way to kind of like sun somebody, or to also make it seem like you're busy, like you have so much on. These guys are on their phones all the time. They're constantly online like the rest of us are in society. So this idea that you didn't see something is insane. Plus with Bryan, you've been accused of all the rapes. You're not that busy. You just do podcasts. You don't do acting anymore. That's completely gone by the wayside. And you're at home with your family if you're not on the road. Of course you see it. You can see it on the plane. You can see it when you're at the airport, when you're in a taxi. It's a weird thing that they all do. Oh, I didn't see that. Like, why are you, like, even locals do it. I remember with DSP and Winged Adventure do the same thing. Like, oh, I didn't see that video. Because I'm so busy streaming. Mate, you make your content online. You live on the internet. You've seen it. Stop lying. Like, why this like pretending that you don't see stuff?
It's got 88 on all platforms.
Yeah, 88 million views.
My God.
And that was Rogan and Bert told you that story, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I told that to Rogan on his podcast.
Now Rogan's beak.
By the way, I gotta tell you. Well, hold on. I gotta say this, and
it's wet Rogan's beak now. He's the one that came up with this plan. Right? He needs the money.
He changed my life because I told that story on his podcast. He then said, you need to tell that on stage. And I was not telling it on stage. And he was like, you need to tell it on stage. And he said, I was doing Columbus, Ohio the next weekend, Columbus Funny Bone. And he goes, guys, when you go to a show, from this point forward, he's only to be known as The Machine. And you are to have him tell that story every time he goes on stage. You shout The Machine. And I was like, Joe. And he's like, shout The Machine until he tells it. Now, do you remember old school Death Squad, Ohio? Old school Death Squad, Ohio. That was like the group of guys that were like hardcore. This is when Rogan was doing it out of his house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They all showed up to like almost every one of my shows, and the first show Thursday, they were like, The Machine! And I was like, guys, I'm not going to tell it. I appreciate that Joe said that.
But I have an act I have to do.
I have an act and I have a closer.
Yeah.
And the one guy goes, buddy, it's your story. You have to tell it. And he was like, we know it's going to be bad, but you got to tell it to make it good. Right, guys? And they're all
This hero journey story thing that these guys give themselves, man, like, God almighty, they're always the fucking hero of the story. And then the crowd cheered, and then all the girls took their tops off. Like, okay, all right.
Oh, like, yeah, Bert, come on.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, what? And then they were like, we'll fake laugh, we promise. I swear to God. Those were like those guys, like, no Susquehanna. Do you remember all those? Oh, I remember those guys.
Before me.
No. Oh, maybe it was.
Yeah,
maybe it was.
How long ago?
It was like
Longer
when
than
it
12
first
years
started.
ago.
Yeah.
The Death Squad.
Look at Brendan dismissing them longer than me 12 years ago. They do not matter. Don't count. What a redux.
Crew was Red Band and all those guys. That was when Joe first started his podcast.
When Joe started it, Joe, this is a little
history
sticky subject at times. I was there for one of these conversations, but Death Squad, I guess Bryan had bought the Death Squad name, and he had started the Death Squad Comedy Network on podcasts.
Right.
But Joe's podcast was obviously the biggest thing on Death Squad, and it was his only thing. And Joe's group of friends, Opie and Anthony, Joe walked in with everyone like Tate Fletcher and fucking and Joey Diaz and everyone, and Opie and Anthony said, "Oh, Joe brought in his Death Squad." So he started calling him and his friends their Death Squad.
Right.
Oh shit, the Death Squad's here. And so there was a moment where I think they split, and because they had Death Squad East and Death Squad West. Death Squad West was Joe's house, and
Imagine you're Red Band. You start a network off. You have Joe Rogan be the biggest pod on it. You're one of his assistants. You're the producer. You're basically Jamie before Jamie. Then Rogan fires you because you're shit at what you do. You stay friends, but then he ends up being the biggest podcast in the world. Now, I'm sure Rogan does seem like a cool guy, and he doesn't necessarily seem like, maybe now he's changed, but I don't think Rogan back then cared about money as much as he maybe does now. I feel like he was always comfortable for a while. So I'm sure he broke Red Band off some good chunk of change. But just imagine how you would feel if he cut you off, right? Because he found you annoying, and because back then people used to complain about Red Band all the time. He'd get the wrong things up on the screen. He'd interrupt. Like he was terrible. He's basically the same way he is now with fucking Kill Tony. And then Joe Rogan turned into what he turned into now. Oh, what a gut punch.
Squad East was the Ice House, and one had a ooh, 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 and one had a meow. Like I'm a podcast geek. Like I've listened to a lot of fucking podcasts.
Deep.
This goes really deep. But dude, I was obsessed with Joe.
Where's the controversy?
I was doing podcasts with Joe.
Because there was a moment where they split, and Bryan took Death Squad and tried to make it a network, but he missed by an inch. And it's not his fault. No one was doing it at the time.
Yeah, I love Red
But
Band.
what he did was he was putting everything on his RS. And Brian, I apologize if I'm misrepresenting this because I don't mean to, but this is my recollection. Is he had everything.
Why are Brian's legs so spread out like that? Like, what is this, like a weird thing to compensate for how small and frail looking he looks like as a man? Because he, you know, his identity is all tied towards masculinity, to do being big and bulky and talking about TRT and how many chicks you fuck. So maybe to compensate for that, he does this weird man spreading. Like, who spreads their, like, look at, that's how you're meant to sit normally, but right, just your legs like that. He's like extra, like it's like he's fucking doing Pilates, or he's on that machine that you use in the gym where you fucking like, what is this? Like, what is that? Like, look, what is that? What is that? Like, what's going on?
On his RSS feed, which is the feed that
for the network.
Yeah, for the network. And then he would release, he did Tom's, he did Joey's, he did, I think he did one for Tripoli and Ari, and he was releasing all of them on the RSS feed. So if he got backed up, you may miss a week because he needed to catch up for the other guys. And that's when Tom went off and started Your Mom's House by himself.
Damn.
And so everyone was like, saw the value in owning their own RSS feed, and Red Ben had all of them. Had he, and this is retrospective, once again, I apologize, Brian, if this isn't correct. Had he started their own RSS feeds for everyone
under the one banner
and created a product, no one had that insight back then. No one thought that Joe was selling fucking fleshlights out of his closet. I
remember.
I mean, legit.
I remember.
You'd go there and he'd go, have some of my Alpha Brain.
He was doing his
try one of
podcast
my
at the Ice
fleshlights.
House. He would do his podcast at the Ice House a lot of times too. I did that a bunch of times.
Well, that was
Remember,
the,
it was like-
that was
the Death Squad
The
days.
Death Squad
Yeah.
days. And so I was
for once Brendan's quiet. You know, you see how Brendan kind of adjusts to who's in the room. When he's impressed by somebody or he thinks somebody's above him, like, you know, obviously Bert's richer than him, way more famous, way more successful. So he kind of acquiesces. He's known Joe longer. He's got real comedic chops and shit. Brendan kind of would like to be him, right? Like, he just acquiesces. He's way more quiet, way more, you know, he's still trying to son Brian, but in this kind of battle of egos and who's got the biggest schlong, he definitely kind of tucks his little pecker in.
I was fascinated by all of it. And had he had the insight to do what like Chris Hardwick did, where he just, Chris Hardwick just threw money at it, was like, let's hire some producers. Let's get everyone their own things, but let's put it all under our network banner. It's all going on one website.
You guys own it all.
And then,
just
then
have
Chris
it here.
Hardwick turned around and sold it to, I think he sold it to Legendary.
Made a lot of money.
And he made it 16 million. By the way, this is the crazy thing is like now we all see that. And I mean, you look at Thick Boy Studios. I have Birdie Boy Productions. I just bought a house. We're building podcast studios out of there. My problem is I don't care about, this is going to sound fucking horrible, but like, I don't care about starting a network because I don't want to take comics money. And in order to make a network and build it, you got to take a little bit, get your beak wet to make it time for you and to pay everyone out.
Yep,
so I've had people want to leave certain networks and come over and have me produce it because I have a great setup with a great group of people. I think we all used to work together at one time that does my ad sales, and it's been very beneficial.
We all used to work together at one time. I wonder why they don't work with them anymore. I wonder why. What were you saying in the chat? The Rinks. AZ, have you seen the Calabasas Fight Companion has been cancelled? Yeah, I mentioned before at the start of the show, man. Yeah, I saw it. It's hilarious. I only take joy in laughing at those kind of things because I know how much they value going on those shows because they like to promote themselves, less about the friendship. But yeah, that's more. He's insufferable to listen to. Yeah.
Official, and I've learned a lot working with Tom over at Your Mom's House. And so I'm trying to build mine, and people go, hey, can we just do ours out of yours, and then you can take your cut?
It's
and
complicated.
It gets complicated, and I don't want to.
No, Brendan, it gets complicated because you don't treat people like human beings, and you're a pretty trash friend. Bert's having issues because, you know, it's hard to run a network. It's hard to kind of have, comedians are, you know, probably bad enough to deal with on the best of times. Having them be your kind of employees in a way and you be their boss, and the egos and the sensitivities and stuff, it's just a bit strange. So I can understand why it means, which is why I say, I'm still not understanding this, but I guess it's the ego. Why don't some of these guys have people managing the networks? Why don't they have an actual podcast manager or producer? Why is it always the talent, the main guy who's the figurehead or the main girl, the one leading it, the network? I don't understand this. Why is he the one doing all this day-to-day stuff? He should have the overall vision and let someone execute it. But they all want to be the guy in charge. They want to be the talent. They want to do stat. They want to do everything. Just let someone else manage the network, and you just flipping promote it with your name, appear as a guest from time to time to boost its numbers, and then, you know, collect the checks. You don't need to be managing people because clearly they can't, because it's a skill. Duh.
I have enough money, and so I don't want to take money from people, but there's no way to run a business without taking a little bit of money. You can't. And so I just go, fuck it, I'll just do me and my wife. It's me and my wife. I have two bears, or I have a Bertcast, your mom's, or God damn it, Bertcast, wife of the party, Something's Burning, and Open Tabs. And I do them out of there, and then we do all our production for like our YouTube channel out of there, and then all the promos come out of there. And then what we're hoping to do is turn it into a media company where, like when we were talking earlier, we're like, I would love the opportunity to help comics sell tickets. It's something I've dialed in on. Maybe.
The guy next to you needs all the help he can get, mate. All the help he can get. The DA's cancelling his gigs and stuff. You know, he needs all the help he can get.
Maybe too much at times, but
You're
like
the best at it.
That's
why I come to you with any of that stuff.
I come up with an idea, and I used to just go, no one will do that. And now I know I can afford it to make them. And they don't all hit. Some miss, but like the ones that hit pop, and then you make a good amount of money selling tickets.
Yeah, you get a return on
Well,
it.
sometimes like what I'll find is I go to a town and like people, they see me, like if I go somewhere, I get recognized a lot.
I know where you're going.
The struggle, the modern day struggle. They recognize me, they see me, but they just don't know how to do stand up. It's not enough. It's already enough that it's like, it's good they recognize me. From all the millions and billions of people walking across walking across the face of the earth, they all have their own issues going on. The rates of unemployment up through the roof. The flipping banks are all about to implode. Rising energy cost, right? It's hard to feed your family on a standard living wage. All of these struggles are going on, but they recognize me. That clearly isn't enough. I also need them to buy my tickets for my show, to buy my merch, to listen to my podcast, to watch all my specials. Like what? Follow me on Instagram, like all my posts, retweet all my tweets. Like Jesus Christ, these guys.
You say the words, they go,
and it's like,
what the fuck you doing
They don't
here?
know I'm here.
Because you don't matter in the grand scheme of things. If DJing is one of the lowest forms of entertainment, stand-up must be way, way low too. It's not that important in the grand scheme of things. Really isn't. The fact that they've all, in some ways, become multi-thousandaires and millionaires is good.
Let me tell you.
I'm a fan. What are you doing
Let
here?
me
I'm like,
tell
how the fuck I have to rely on this club?
Let's fucking preach. So I have a theory.
Never rely on
You're not successful in comedy if anyone you go to that city, you're not doing your job. If anytime you go to that city, people go, "When are you coming to Boston?"
This is what happens to me all day.
This is
Nothing
I
worse.
did. So I did.
What do I do about that?
So I learned. This is how I learned.
Stop raping. That's one thing. Maybe stop raping. Maybe publicly denounce yourself or distance yourself from Chris D'Elia in general. That could be a good way to start. Maybe talk about how Rogan aired you for 2 years after you got accused of rape because he didn't want no parts of it because of his Spotify deal, even though you were meant to be friends and you're all anti-cancer culture. Maybe that will get you a little bump in sales and views. Maybe. Who knows? Or maybe you could do a BGL and throw Brendan under the bus. That might help also. But number one, no more rapes. That might help your ticket sales.
You get a wig.
Drives me nuts. A wig? I don't know if that's going to work. See, he has bad ideas.
No,
I mean, I'll do it.
No, you do your show and then you put on a wig. It's not a bad idea. No, it's not. Hold on. Stop. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
So I got to get a wig.
That's not a bad idea.
Fuck. All right.
That's not a bad idea.
Bert's being so fake here. He doesn't find that funny. Why is Bert on this show, by the way? Why is Bert on this show? Maybe similar to like Howie Mandel when he went on The Fire and the Kid. Maybe it's just like Hollywood people just, maybe sometimes, something they say to you, they say, like, I've had people say it to me before, so, you should ask so-and-so for an interview. And so I think, they wouldn't come on here. But sometimes just asking people, you don't realize how often people are ready, willing to do stuff because they just would love the attention. They love the opportunity to just talk about themselves. So maybe that's why Bert's got no reason to be on this show. And he doesn't find either of these guys funny.
Yeah,
so
to
I'm gonna
promote
write
a
that
city.
down.
To promote a city. That's not a bad idea for a promotion. I'm not even fucking around.
Yeah,
You're in
no.
Boston, and you go, guys. I was in Boston. My ticket sales were low,
Look how happy Brendan is that Bert like laughed at his joke.
and people keep asking me about my shows. And then you put on a wig and you walk around like, "Hey man, do you know when Bryan Callen's coming to town?" You're like, "No, but he's in Tarzana next week."
Okay, is that good?
That's a great fucking
Great.
promo.
All right, fine, I'll do
And by
that
the way,
then.
you got to make the biggest people kill themselves by over.
Look at Brian thinking that's gonna be the magic that's gonna finally get him selling out fucking, the haha in flipping Ohio.
Analyzing just a thought, because once you turn on the camera, you will make it funny.
figure it
Once
out.
you turn on the camera, so here's how I changed everything for me.
Yeah, Jordan. Bert just doesn't want to go home. Exactly. That's probably he's on the road constantly. He misses out on large gaps of his kids' upbringing. That's what someone said before about his kids. I don't like talking about kids, but don't be surprised. This always happens. Don't be surprised if both of Bert's daughters are completely teetotal their entire adult lives, and they have completely normal, non-entertainment adult jobs, and they're very successful at them, and they take pride in being really good at what they do. Don't be surprised at it. Don't be surprised that happens. They're the complete opposite, and they don't want nothing to do with they're not social media, but they don't want to be like content creators. They just got really good jobs, and they're both teetotal. Don't be surprised that happens. Don't be surprised, because usually if your parents are like this or one of them is like this, you see the real life shit, right? You see how that is. He wakes up hungover. He isn't able to come to a baseball or football game. He smells like a flipping bar every single day. He's leaving piss stains all over the toilet seat and shit. Like, you see what the realities of that life is actually like, and you don't want any parts of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if both of Bert's daughters don't want anything to do with that lifestyle and just pick the complete opposite of it. Complete normie lifestyle. It wouldn't surprise me.
Because I got offered to do Red Rocks with Jim Jeffries. At the time, I knew I was probably good for like 4,000 tickets in Denver.
How long ago is this?
This is I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I knew I was good for like 4,000 tickets, maybe 5,000 tickets. Red Rock sells 10,000. Jim Jeffries is having a baby, and he backs out. He goes, "I can't. It's our due date weekend. My wife wants me here. I need to be here." And I go, "Totally understand." So now I know.
Jim Jeffries sounds like a legend. Would either of those guys cancel a gig? Cancel a gig if their wives were pregnant and about to give birth? This is a venue that's 10,000. So they get the opportunity to have that picture with them standing in front of a crowd from behind with everybody cheering their name, loads of clout, loads of money. Do you think either of those guys would cancel a gig because their wife went into labor? Or do you think they'd like look at the phone and then flip it over? They see it ringing, they press silent.
I'm out of the weekend. Red Rock calls and says, "Hey man, we can't fill it in this short notice. Do you want the weekend by yourself?" And now I know I can't fail because they already know that I wasn't supposed to sell it. But now I get the opportunity to see if I can move 10,000 tickets in a market. So I said to myself, I will only succeed, not if I sell it out, but if I go into this venue, do my show, and then I was taking Georgia around Boulder. I wanted her to go to Boulder. If I am around that city and no one says to me, "What are you doing here?"
Right.
And what was crazy is we went to Colorado State, University of Colorado Boulder, and then we hung out in Evergreen where we were staying.
Not doing stand-up. You were just there?
I stayed the extra night and watched Jimmy Buffett. I did the show. I ended up selling it out, but I did the show, and I just promoted the fuck out of it. And comics hit me up, and they're like, "Dude, we get it. You're doing fucking Red Rocks." And I go, "No, it's not about you. You're not who I give a fuck about, because you are never going to buy a ticket to my show because you're my friend.
You're in the business."
Stand-up comedians are the worst, isn't it? I get this guy is annoying, and his over promotion on your feed must be terrible, especially if you're one of those stand-up comedians that only follows like 10 people, and you want to keep your feed kind of exclusive and shit, and you're seeing pictures of topless every second that you're rolling on your feed. But imagine being a professional in the same field as somebody, and then message them and telling them, "Hey, stop with the promoting." It's funny because they complain about trolls and haters, but their own peers hate on them way more than trolls and haters do. Because you can just tune that out. You can just leave all those messages to message requests, not open them. You could just avoid Reddit. But if your actual comedic peers, people you maybe look up to and love, are DMing you and telling you to chill with the promotion, that's an epic level of hate. Wow.
Yeah, you're in the business.
Yeah.
What I care about is I will never get upset if I found out that my favorite comic or my favorite artist is coming to my town. If Wilco posts every single day from this point until their show in 5 months from now, not once will I see that post and go, enough, Wilco.
They don't know who Wilco is. They don't know if Wilco is a band. They don't know if it's a person. They don't know what music Wilco plays, whether the person performs with a puppet. They have no idea what Wilco is. No idea.
Because I want to be reminded.
But also, look how much they're paying attention. Bert is the big dog in the room. He sells tickets. He makes money. He's rich as hell. He's got the contacts, Netflix, all the stuff they want. Look at how in tune they both are. They are locked in when he's talking. He's captivating them entirely. That's what this is their version of Hollywood. Only give respect to somebody when they're richer than you, more successful than you, and have more clout than you. That's the only way you get respect from these guys. Horrible, isn't it?
That show is then.
Right.
I want to go, oh, that's right. Wilco's in fucking 3 weeks.
Yeah, because we're so insecure about that.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I retweeted it or I made a video about it once.
Oh my God. Dude, the people getting upset about that are the people not going to the show. The people going to the show. How many times you bought concert tickets and then forgot and missed the concert? And you were like, fuck. Why didn't I wish
I've never done that, but I like where you're going.
I've done that. I've done that twice.
I've never done that, but I feel you.
I've done that twice.
Yeah, because you don't go to concerts. I've done that plenty of times. I've done it recently. I bought tickets to nightclub events and just forgot that I bought the ticket for them. But if I was on, and again, I'm not on social media as much as these guys. I'm not checking people's feeds all the time, so maybe I miss stuff. But what Bert's saying is true. There is no such thing as over promoting yourself. But unfortunately, as somebody that creates content, it is awkward to keep talking about yourself, and it's kind of like you're grifting and shilling yourself. It just comes across a bit gross. But what he's saying is true. The people that want to hear from you will check you out. The ones that get annoyed by you over promoting will just click on follow, unsubscribe, and hide. That happens. No big of a deal.
Could happen.
Yeah.
So then I went to do Red Rocks. I did promos out the ass. I was always doing promos.
On your own social media.
On my own social media. I was doing them all by myself at the time, and I was in Serbia shooting the movie, and I had blown out my elbow doing my own stunts. I had to go in for surgery, and they were like, "What song do you want to get put down to?" And I said,
"This video's great."
And I said, "Fuck this." I go, Credence, and don't count me backwards. I'm gonna do a promo with my phone, and when I go out, I want the phone to drop.
Have you seen
and I'm gonna
this?
keep doing the promo until it drops, and that'll be my promo.
No, I don't know.
And so I was going into surgery. They're playing CCR, and I'm going, and they're like, "You're going under," and I go, "Yeah, I am." Hey guys, if I'm going under and I'm scared and I'm nervous and I don't want to make, if I don't make it out of this, I want you to know one thing: I will be at Red Rocks, and I'm doing. And you,
What's worse than describing a skit? Watching a skit that you already want to avoid.
hear everyone in the room laughing, and I go, Jimmy Buffett's there the next night. And my anesthesiologist is like, wait, I want to see Jimmy Buffett. I go, you want to come to the show? And he's like, yeah. I go, I will see you there. And I drop the phone, and that's my promo, and it sold out Red Rocks for me. And when I went through Evergreen,
dude,
all anyone said to me,
I gotta figure it out.
let me tell you,
Can Brian figure it out at 55?
Yeah, of course I'm 50.
Brian doesn't see anything as a humble brag and as a way to kind of signal that he's really busy, but he's also struggling to sell tickets and doesn't understand why. Too busy to promote, too busy to think of creative ideas to promote your shows. All the allegations of rape, the association with Crystalia, the association with Brendan Schaub, but then you're struggling as to why you can't sell tickets.
It's
I'm
never too
50.
late. Yes,
Where's the whiskey?
No, it's not too late.
Let me tell you.
How are you done already?
Yeah, I'm quick.
Holy shit.
I'm on steroids. Listen, here's the deal. Here's the deal.
No. That fake laugh was so gross. We have to zoom in on that one. That fake laugh was, oh my God, that was gross. He was kind of turned on that Bert drank so fast because it means that he's not the only alcoholic in the room. Look at Brian, still questioning his life decisions. Why wouldn't he help me? Why wouldn't he sign me to his media agency? Why can't I sell any tickets? Why don't I see stuff? Why am I always ignoring the stuff on social? Why can't I see stuff that people promote, but I can see pictures of, girls that don't happen to be my wife on social media? Why is that possible? Allegedly, who knows? Why don't I look at stuff? why did Toho gadoosh me? And he's impressed. Oh my God, dude, you can drink whiskey really fast. But look at his fake laugh. Look at his fake laugh. Come on, Brendan, man. This is not good. Laugh generally, but this is not good. Come on, Geezer.
Yeah, I'm quick.
Holy shit.
I'm on steroids. Listen.
Look at that fake laugh. Look at that fake Rogan laugh. Look at that fake Rogan laugh that he's doing. He never laughs like this. Go through, and again, I'm a former fan, so I know this guy intimately, too well. Go back through any bits of content that Brendan's done. You'll not find a laugh like this ever in your life. You will not find one instance of him laughing at that. Nothing that he said there was that funny. I'm on steroids.
You are not on steroids. I'm on juiced.
How do you feel after
I got my
test?
gear.
I want to talk about your running gear.
Amazing.
now.
Hold on. I'm not done talking
Yeah.
about promos.
I want to know this.
Let me tell you that you want to know.
Hold on. Get a fucking notepad out.
Yeah, I should.
You want
This
to know
is disrespect.
the real.
I love when Brendan does this. When in a way to be funny, his son's an already fragile and worried Bryan. He sees the career's not going the way it should be. Hollywood basically dried up after all the rape allegations. He doesn't seem to have a handle on social media, even though he's been on it for fucking 1,000 years. He hasn't been able to curtail or use the promo that he's got, or the buzz, or the rub he got from Rogan and that association with that friendship to really sell anything. And it's not going the best for him. And he's questioning his life decisions. He's there thinking, rah, Ted, man, is it ever going to go actually well for me? And here's Brendan there, kicking the guy while he's down. They're meant to be co-hosts and friends and compadres, but instead, he's there sunning him in an effort to, to humor himself with Bert. Horrible.
The real game changer is we do Sober October the first year.
Yeah. Gay.
And
gay.
and so I tell, and it did.
Yeah, because you didn't get invited. That's why. But Brendan, you know what the theory is online on the Fire Naked subreddit. Have you guys heard this? And again, because those guys are so on point. Those guys were saying that Brendan started drinking because he wanted to secretly be a part of Sober October. But obviously, because Ari and those guys never really liked it, especially Ari, he's never really been a fan of Brendan's. And I'm sure Ari's the type to tell Rogan that, nah, we're not having it. So he would have definitely said it, even though Bert and Tom, I think, liked him. But that's the theory. The theory is Brendan started to drink and abuse drugs and shit just because he wanted to get part of Sober October, but they never once invited him. That's the running theory in the Fire Naked subreddit. I'm not sure if that's true. If that is true, that's fucking redacted. But that's the theory that's kind of running at the moment. And it makes sense because he used to hate on it so much because that was legitimately the thing that kind of replaced the Fight Companion in terms of good vibes. And they clearly got on with each other really well. And it was obviously a good stuff for them marketing-wise, online and whatnot. But if people saying in the chat they agree with it, they think it's true. But that's the theory. Crazy, isn't it? And obviously that little line there, you could tell that he wanted to be involved. That's why they're both laughing, because Bert knows Brendan wanted to be involved, and Brendan knows that
did really well. And I noticed that it moved tickets for the rest of the tour. All of a sudden, everything cleaned up and everything out of the show, and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy."
The humble brags are amazing. Who he books on tour, his promotions, selling out, how well the fucking Sober October did for him.
So I said to Joe and Tom and Ari, I said, "Hey, maybe we should next year, instead of a challenge, let's do hip hop dance. We'll each learn a hip hop dance, and then we'll learn it throughout the month. We'll practice. You burn calories."
Zian Jan, I promise you, if I was as rich as these guys, I would not be caring one iota about the things that they care about. They worry about the wrong things. One of these guys gets paid to go on stage and tell jokes with his t-shirt off. Life to me will be good. That's probably why he laughs so much, because life is good. That's what I'd be doing. One guy in this group of people can't even speak English properly. Even though it's his first language, he can't speak English. He has no idea how to speak English. He allegedly has 2 degrees, can't speak English, but he's a multi-millionaire doing podcasts, but still isn't enjoying it. One guy got accused of all the rapes and still has a career, but still it needs more. These guys are never satisfied. I'd be very much content if I was either of these guys. Super content. Life could be much worse because, like the rest of us, I've worked a real job. I've worked in places that I don't like. I've been around people that I had no choice but to be around. So if you pay me money to stand on stage with my top off and tell jokes about my annoying children and my annoying wife, I'd be over the moon about it. Honestly, I would. I really would.
Joe's not entertaining that.
You have no idea how quick Joe shot it down.
No, I
He's
do.
like, I'm not doing that.
No, I do.
I'm not doing that.
He's out of
And
my comfort zone.
I'm not doing that. I'm definitely not doing that. I actually won't do Sober October if that's what you're doing. I'm not doing it. And so we're all like, okay, we'll just all.
Yeah, stupid idea. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so we all put on chest straps and then almost proceeded to murder each other, trying to out-calorie each other for the day. But in doing so, I still thought hip-hop dance was a good idea.
I like it.
So I took hip-hop dance lessons.
What we were just talking about this in the last podcast.
Yeah. No, Segura put a fucking production like the Jabberwockies.
Oh, dude. Well, now I took lessons for $1,200 with this woman. This is my promo of me going under.
I need her number.
I can't believe you haven't seen this.
Oh, let me watch this.
I'm pretty high. I feel like I should write a poem or something.
Isn't that a good place?
Yeah. You listen to CCR.
You're in a good place?
I'm going into surgery right now. We're playing Creedence Clearwater Revival. Perfect way to go under. I have a great team around me. We're all going to go down.
This guy must be exhausting, isn't it? This is worse than being in a relationship with like a vlogger. Imagine this. Do you remember there was a period in time, maybe you guys don't know this, but there was a period in time where Casey Neistat's wife was on the brink of leaving him because of the excessive vlogging, the vlogging every single day, recording every single day of content that they were together with. And Casey Neistat is like a pioneer in YouTube vlogging, a trendsetter, right? A thought leader in that space. And his wife was like, enough with the fucking camera. Enough with the boom mic. Enough. Right? She nearly left him. And he had to kind of stop that. And of course he moved to LA for a bit, then they moved back again to New York. But there was a period in Casey Neistat's life where vlogging, the thing that was making him rich and famous, the thing that was supporting his entire family, putting his kids through private school, funding his wife's business, was gonna be the cause of relationship breaking up, because regular person just can't handle having a camera in their face every single day. Imagine doctors just trying to do their job. They don't give a fuck about Bert Kreischer. They just want to do their job, whatever surgery it is, removing his gallbladder, whatever it may be. Fuck me, mate. Exhausting.
But what I want to tell you for real, while I'm laying on this
You're all high. Hold on.
is Red Rocks, September 8th. I will be performing at Red Rocks. Get your tickets at BertBertBert.com. Jimmy Buffett's there the night before and the night after. I can't wait to do Red Rocks. I have invited my anesthesiologist. Who's going to be attending.
You went right out. Wow.
Let's take a little break from chatting with Birdie Boy.
Okay, so the break's done and I'm going to leave it for now because it's already 6 a.m. here and I need to go for a run. So we're going to pick this up again when I come back. I'll do another live stream later tonight, hopefully. So you guys can tune into that one if you... Dark Web J, a break, please. Is this exhausting for you guys? This is not fun, is it? I did say I'll do more of these because I thought they'd be fun to do watch-alongs because I could maybe pull some bits and clips, but I think it might be best I just pull the clips myself when I watch it and then kind of do it, but I don't think people like watching these watch-alongs. Oh, shit. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you. It's been a pleasure to have your company. Before I forget, please make sure, if you haven't already, to if you do have the ability to, please make sure you support a member, obviously, of our community here. Martha, please make sure you do support if you can for this great cause. I'm going to put the link again in the chat. So just in case you guys haven't remembered it, this is the GoFundMe that I want you guys to be involved in. So if you can, make sure that you do that. That'll be bloody awesome. Support the cause, support the cause. It's right there in front of you. Help get Billie her service dog. Please do so. That'll be great. Please make sure you do. Apart from that, I don't really have anything more to flipping push. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button down below for me if you can, if you enjoyed the show. If you didn't enjoy it, dislike it. That's all well and good. And I'll be back again very, very soon to do another part of the stream and obviously talk about some other bits and bobs. And also, I'll do another follow up on the no jumper situation and have an idea on what's going on so I can kind of get caught up and whatnot. So I'll do that. But for now, I'm going to go on a run. I need to get my skinny boy swag back on again, right? And flipping, you know, get this buccal fat removed from my face. So I'll be back out running again and doing all that malarkey and update you later on when I go on my run and let you know what's going on. But yeah, live stream happening again soon. We'll catch up on the Brendan stuff, do more of the other no jumpers shit and go from there. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to smash that like for me. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Take care. Peace, everybody. See you soon. See you soon. See you soon. See you soon. See you soon.